I couldn't even open my eyes. My whole body was burning up 1 second and freezing the next. It felt like I was dying. Somewhere nearby, two girls were talking trash about me. They said I was useless, that I was just a burden to the team, and that Gu Jibei, the male lead, never even liked me. They said he only cared about Qiao Qingwan, the female lead. Then it hit me. Zombies. They mentioned zombies. This wasn't some cheesy drama. This was an apocalypse. A flood of memories crashed into my brain. In my past life, I was a struggling web novel author. I worked myself to death, literally. I died from overwork writing 6 books at once. And somehow I transmigrated into a novel. I became Yun Jiang, a rich family's daughter and the villainous female side character. The fiancé the male lead never wanted. Worse, I arrived at the exact moment the original Yun Jiang had just pushed the female lead into a zombie horde. The plan backfired. The female lead survived thanks to her plot armor, and I got scratched by a zombie instead. What a perfect time to show up, right? All the damage was already done, and I'm the one who has to pay for it. Here's what I know from reading the book. The female lead, Qiao Qingwan, got hurt because of original me. But that injury actually became her biggest blessing. She awakened a rare healing ability and even stole my storage space. Meanwhile, the male lead took care of her while I got tossed into a storage room to die alone. Nobody in the team liked original me. She had 0 friends. She couldn't survive the fever, and that's when I took over this body. In the original story, after this point, the male lead hated me more and more. He even gave away my family heirloom, a white jade ring, to the female lead. Her blood accidentally dripped on it and activated a pocket dimension. With that space and her healing power, she became the strongest support ability user in the apocalypse and helped the male lead become the ruler of the new world. My role in the story? I was just a stepping stone, a tool to make the female lead look good. In the original ending, I got kicked out of the team and died alone. Not even bones left behind. But I know something nobody else does. I know why original me never mutated and never awakened any ability after the zombie scratch. Then a strange electronic voice spoke inside my head. Host must find the key to awaken the villain system within 12 hours. The white jade ring. A flash of white light, and I was standing in front of a huge black door with golden letters that read, Villain System. The door handle had a ring-shaped slot. Ask the voice what happens if I fail. Host will share the original's fate, abandoned and destroyed. Death in this world is real death. I asked why I even came here if the original Yun Jiang didn't die at this point in the story. Where did she go? Silence. No answer. The thought of dying again made me jump up from the cold floor. I was in a tiny storage room, maybe 10 square meters, packed with junk. My arm was throbbing. A nasty zombie scratch wound, skin torn open, dried blood all over the floor. I tried the door. Locked from outside. Outside, I heard those 2 girls again. Zhou Sha and Su Xianhua. Zhou Sha pulled out a knife, excited about the idea that I might have turned into a zombie so she could kill me. They were openly planning my murder. Not even trying to hide it. Real respectful. I'm not dead yet, I yelled. That didn't stop Zhou Sha. She kicked the door open and charged at me with a knife. But I saw it coming. I dodged to the side, and her momentum carried her forward. She stumbled off balance. I smiled, lifted my foot, and kicked her right in the backside. She crashed face first into the pile of junk with a loud clatter, only her but sticking up in the air. Su Xianhua screamed and ran to help her, then turned around pointing at me. Yun Jiang, you already hurt Qingwan, and now you're hurting Sha Sha too. You're so evil. Evil? I actually kind of liked that word. It fits my character perfectly right now. I looked at them both coldly. They were just side characters too, loyal followers of the main leads, cannon fodder just like me. They always had a problem with original me and picked fights at every chance. So you two can try to kill me, but I can't fight back? What kind of logic is that? They wanted me dead. Why would I play nice? Zhou Sha grabbed the knife off the floor, eyes burning with rage, and charged at me again. Yun Jiang, I'm going to kill you. Zhou Sha charged at me with a knife. I reacted fast, I grabbed the door handle and slammed the door right into her face.
Bam.
She ran straight into it at full speed. Her nose turned red instantly. Blood started gushing out, and a huge bump popped up on her forehead. Blood sprayed everywhere. I dodged to the side just in time to avoid getting splattered. I couldn't help but laugh. She deserved it. "Oh my, Zhou Sha, how could you be so clumsy?" I said with my best fake concern. The noise brought everyone in the villa running over. They arrived just in time to see Zhou Sha's bloody face and me standing there looking perfectly fine. They all looked at me with disgust. I could practically hear them thinking, why didn't the zombie scratch turn me? Why was I still alive? Then a man with a cold expression stepped forward. Yun Jiang, the second in command of our team, a strength-type ability user and Gu Jibei's old high school buddy. He secretly liked the female lead too. Basically, just another simp on a long list of simps. "Yun Jiang, you're making so much noise. What if you attract zombies?" I scoffed. I wasn't the one yelling and screaming. "Don't blame the wrong person, Yun Jiang." Then another guy jumped in, some nobody named Li Wei. "You better pray nothing happens to Qingwan, or I'll kill you myself." This guy had 0 screen time in the original book. He dies even faster than me. Before the apocalypse, he used to suck up to me because I was from the rich Yun family. The second the virus broke out, he started pushing me around just because he had some muscle. Two-faced trash. "You think you can kill me? Try surviving past episode 2 first," I shot back. He rolled up his sleeves like he was going to hit me. "Are you even a woman?" "I'm not?" "Then I guess you must be," I said, looking him up and down with a smirk. His face went red. He balled his fists and stomped toward me, ready to swing, but then he spotted Gu Jibei standing behind everyone and stopped. I noticed Gu Jibei too. He was just standing there, watching me get threatened and bullied, completely unbothered. Cold eyes. 0 concern. I was outnumbered. Fighting them head-on would only get me hurt, so I switched tactics. I copied the original Yun Jiang's act, ran over to Gu Jibei, and grabbed onto his sleeve. "Gu Gij. They're bullying me." I hid behind him and played the victim. Everyone looked sick to their stomachs watching my performance. Yun Jiang spoke up right away. "Jibei, don't fall for it. Have you forgotten who pushed Qingwan into the zombie horde? She's still unconscious with a fever because of this woman." Gu Jibei's face darkened. He grabbed my arm and pulled me out from behind him. But before he could say anything, I spoke first. "How dare you twist the truth? Which eye of yours saw me push her? Your heart is dirty, so everything looks dirty to you." I kept going. Qingwan tripped and fell into the zombie crowd on her own. I got scratched by a zombie because I tried to save her. Li Wei exploded. "You? Saved Qingwan? Everyone knows you're jealous of her." I laughed coldly. "Me? Jealous of her? Is she prettier than me? Is her family richer than mine? Why would I be jealous of some homewrecker?" The whole room went silent. Everyone's eyes shifted to Gu Jibei. They all knew about his relationship with Qiao Qingwan. The man had a fiancée, but was running around with another woman. Nobody was blind. Zhou Sha, still wiping blood off her face, jumped back in to defend her precious Qingwan. "You're lying. You hurt Qingwan," I sighed dramatically, then showed everyone my arm. The torn open zombie wound, still not bandaged, flesh ripped apart. If you want to play that game, I could just as easily say Qingwan pushed me into the zombies. How else would my wound be way worse than hers? That shut them up. It was true. When it happened, I was covered in blood, while Qiao Qingwan's clothes weren't even wrinkled. Her scratch was barely a paper cut. Even Gu Jibei hesitated for a moment, doubt flickering across his face. "Enough," he said. Yun Jiang jumped in, trying to sound reasonable. "Let's put the Qingwan incident aside for now. She's still unconscious, so we can't just take your word for it. But you hurting a teammate today? We all saw that." I couldn't believe these people. "How is that my fault?" Zhou Sha came at me with a knife. She tripped over her own stupidity. And somehow I'm the bad guy? Su Xiaonhua backed her up. "If it wasn't for you, Sha wouldn't be hurt. Are you serious right now?" I snapped. She came at me with a knife, trying to kill me. The weapon is literally still in her hand. You all saw it. Are you telling me you'd just stand there and let someone stab you? Everyone turned and looked at Zhou Sha, who was standing there awkwardly with the knife still in her grip. She didn't know whether to hide it or drop it. "I thought you turned into a zombie," she said, face turning red. "I literally told you I was alive and you still stabbed at me. How is that not on purpose?" Zhou Sha denied hearing me. "I didn't hear anything." "Xiaona, did you hear her?" Su Xiaonhua shook her head. "Nope, me neither. Right, you're both deaf at your age." "Got it." They glared at me, sputtering. You. What? Deaf and got a stutter now. Gu Zhibei finally cut in. "Enough. There are zombies everywhere outside. Do you all want to die making this much noise?" He wasn't defending me. He just wanted quiet because his precious Qingwan was still unconscious. But he also seemed a little unsure about whether I really pushed her. Deep down, he didn't fully believe the girl he grew up with could do something that evil. He warned me to behave, then walked off toward Qingwan's room. I followed him immediately. I had to get that white jade ring back. My life depended on it. He noticed me trailing behind and frowned. "Why are you following me instead of treating your wound? I'm scared they'll bully me again. Plus, I need to tell you something." He cut me off with a cold laugh. "You? Getting bullied? More like the other way around." I smiled proudly. "True. You know me so well. People might think you're the worm living inside my stomach." His face went dark. I was doing it on purpose. Disgusting this trash man was my specialty now. He tried giving me a serious talk. "Yun Jiang, this isn't your family's mansion. Nobody here is going to spoil you. If you keep acting like this, nobody can save you." I just laughed. He looked shaken for a second. I guess this body was beautiful enough that even a casual smile hit different. Before he could lecture me more, we heard something crash in Qingwan's room. He rushed in. Xiao Qingwan was awake. She'd knocked over a water glass. "Zhibei, I didn't mean to break it," she said in that timid little voice, looking all guilty and fragile. He didn't care about the glass. He was just happy she was alive. He was about to rush over and hug her, but I shoved past him first. He stumbled sideways, and by the time he looked up, I was already at the bedside. When I looked at Xiao Qingwan, I could see something strange, a golden light surrounding her body. Some kind of protective glow. I grabbed her hand. The second I touched her, an invisible force pushed me back. I held on tighter, ignoring the stinging pain in my fingers. The golden light was resisting me, some kind of protection barrier. The heavens themselves were shielding this woman. I put on my best worried face. "Qingwan, I'm so glad you woke up." She looked at me with pure terror. She was reliving the moment the original me, pushed her into the zombie horde with a demonic grin, saying, "Die, Xiao Qingwan. Once you're dead, Gu Zhibei is mine." Now here I was, smiling at her bedside. To her, this was even scarier. "Qingwan, if you hadn't woken up, I'd never be able to clear my name. Quick, tell Gu Zhibei, I'm the one who saved you. You're so clumsy, falling into the zombie crowd like that. If it wasn't for me, what would you have done?" Full acting mode. I held onto her hand through the painful golden sting and refused to let go. But I needed a trump card. The white jade ring was on Gu Zhibei, and because of the book's plot armor, he might not give it back willingly. I had to flip the script and make Qingwan cover for me. Then it hit me, I knew something. While holding her hand, I secretly traced a character on her palm. Zhang. Her eyes went wide. She stared at me like a cat whose tail just got stepped on. Pure shock. She had a secret. Something about someone named Zhang. And she absolutely did not want Gu Zhibei to find out. After a long internal battle, she gave in. "Yes. I should thank Yun Jiang for saving my life. Zhibei, if it wasn't for her, I would have died. I just tripped and fell." Everyone misunderstood her. Gu Zhibei was stunned. Really? Qingwan wanted to scream that it was all lies, that I was the one who pushed her. But she couldn't risk it. She couldn't let her secret get out. I slipped and fell. It was all a misunderstanding. I nodded, satisfied. I had to change the original story's direction if I wanted to survive. Then I crossed my arms and looked at Gu Zhibei. "So? Now that you know it was a misunderstanding, are you going to apologize?" Qingwan was screaming internally. The audacity. Gu Zhibei forced it out. "That I'm sorry, Yun Jiang. I misunderstood you. I hummed smugly. Now, time to ask for the white jade ring back. I opened my mouth, but before I could say a word, Gu Jibei cut me off again. Second time today. I rolled my eyes and clenched my fist. You must be thirsty. Have some water, he said to Qingwan, forming a water ball with his ability and handing it to her gently. She took it shyly, glancing at me with discomfort. She and Gu Jibei had been college sweethearts, the campus golden couple. They'd shared milk and umbrellas and library dates. But they came from different worlds, so she'd tried to let him go. Then after graduation, she landed a job as executive secretary at a big company in Chuan City. The CEO turned out to be Gu Jibei. Their feelings reignited fast. Just when she thought she might finally be good enough for him, she found out he already had a fiancé. I watched Qingwan and Gu Jibei interact, and honestly, I understood why the original Yun Jiang went crazy. The flirting between them was so thick you could choke on it. Let me break it down. Qingwan and Gu Jibei were college sweethearts. After they graduated, she thought it was over between them. She couldn't find a job for a while, then got an offer as executive secretary at a big company in Chuan City. Turns out the CEO was Gu Jibei. Their feelings came rushing back. But then she found out he had a fiancé. They had a huge fight. She took a company assignment and came to High City out of spite. That's when the zombie virus broke out and she got trapped. Gu Jibei chased after her all the way here. And then the original me, followed too. During the escape, original me figured out their relationship and started causing trouble for Qingwan. That's what led to the whole pushing into the zombie horde incident. Now Qingwan knew I had her secret, and she was terrified I'd expose it. Looking at them together made me sick. Gu Jibei knew the original me loved him since childhood, yet he kept things going with Qingwan behind my back. He held onto my family's money and power with one hand while clinging to his true love with the other. And Qingwan? She knew he had a fiancé the whole time and still kept coming back. In the original book, when they finally threw original me away, Qingwan even had the nerve to say, Yun Jiang, the one who isn't loved, is the real homewrecker. What kind of twisted logic is that? The original Yun Jiang was the real victim. She grew up loved and spoiled, but after meeting Qingwan, everything went wrong. She lost her mind, got kicked out, died alone, and even her storage space got stolen. After she was dead, Gu Jibei went back to Chuan City, hid the fact that he'd abandoned her, and used my family's influence to become a warlord. My family never even found out their precious daughter was rotting in a ditch somewhere. Disgusting. Both of them deserved each other, locked together forever in their trashy little romance. Then a thought hit me. They stole the original Yun Jiang's fortune and destiny. So why couldn't I steal theirs? The instant that idea crossed my mind, the golden light around Qingwan lashed out at me. A sharp pain shot through my hand. I yanked it back and looked down. There was a fresh crack split right across my palm, bleeding everywhere. Gu Jibei noticed. He looked at my bloody hand, then turned to Qingwan with disappointment in his voice. Qingwan, what did you do? He just accepted that I saved Qingwan from the zombies. Now, he thought she was hurting me right in front of him. No matter what, I was still his little sister in his eyes. I might be annoying, but I didn't deserve this. Qingwan went pale. She pointed at me, trembling, but something held her back. She was afraid of what I might reveal. All she could do was cry. Jibei, it wasn't me. It really wasn't me. This was the first time he'd ever spoken to her so harshly. Tears poured down her face. She'd been pushed into a zombie horde by me, and now she was getting framed by me too. She really was more wronged than a saint. Gu Jibei ignored her crying and grabbed my wrist, pulling me toward the door to get my wound treated. His hand on my wrist made my skin crawl. I ripped my arm away and started wiping the spot on my sleeve. Gross. He looked confused. He thought I was just mad about being wrongly accused earlier. Jiang, you're hurt. You need bandages, he said patiently. What a hypocrite. When I was scratched by a zombie, nobody cared. They threw me in a dark storage room to die. Now he's playing the caring big brother? For whose benefit? Qingwan panicked when she saw him leaving with me. In her nightmares, Gu Jibei chose me over her. She couldn't let that happen. Suddenly her palm started glowing with a pale, white light. The zombie scratch on her arm healed right before her eyes, skin smooth and perfect like nothing ever happened. She'd awakened a healing ability. Jibei. I can heal Yun Jiang. I awakened a healing power. Look, she jumped off the bed without even putting on shoes and ran toward us, straight across the broken glass on the floor. Ow, she cried out. 2 cuts opened up on her feet, blood blooming across the floor like red flowers. Gu Jibei spun around and saw her standing on broken glass, crying and beautiful and fragile. His heart melted instantly. What was he thinking? How could he get upset with Qingwan over someone like me? Qingwan would never hurt anyone. She was too gentle and kind for that. He dropped me like a sack of rice, rushed over, scooped Qingwan up in his arms, and gently placed her on the bed. There's glass on the floor. Don't you know that hurts? He scolded her softly, voice dripping with concern and affection. I stood there wiping the spot where he'd grabbed me. Disgusting. Qingwan held onto his hand, eyes full of tears. Jibei, I'm scared you'll leave me.
It really wasn't me.
I don't know what happened. He sighed and put his hand on her head. Silly girl. How could I ever leave you? His words were so greasy. I nearly threw up, absolutely drowning in cheese. Qingwan nodded against his shoulder, looking pitiful and delicate. I had to admit, as the female lead, Qingwan was gorgeous. She had this ethereal fairy quality about her. But the whole crying then smiling act was ugly. And I caught something just now. A flash of smugness in her eyes. A tiny spark of triumph and provocation aimed right at me. I always knew Qingwan wasn't the innocent angel she pretended to be. No truly kind person would ever say, the unloved one is the real homewrecker. But her little provocations? They were laughable. Gu Jibei was a piece of trash. He had zero loyalty and love. And she was treating him like some grand prize. The only person she was fooling was herself. Qingwan snuggled into Gu Jibei's arms and pulled the glass out of her foot. White light flowed from her hand and healed the cuts instantly. Not even a scar left. Look, Jibei, I awakened a healing ability. He was thrilled. He grabbed her waist and hugged her tight. Qingwan, that's amazing. A healer is so important. She hugged him back, rubbing against him like I wasn't even standing right there. She was clearly trying to provoke me, waiting for me to snap, rush over, and tear them apart so Gu Jibei could see what a crazy, jealous woman I was. Too bad for her. I just stood in the doorway watching them with a smirk. I couldn't care less. That drove her nuts. She couldn't understand why I wasn't losing it. She still thought I saw myself as some high and mighty heiress fighting over a man. She took a deep breath, forced a sweet smile, and said gently, Yun Jiang, come here. Let me heal your wounds. Free healing? I'd be stupid to refuse.
I walked over.
But when she reached for me, I pulled back. Gu Jibei sighed. Jiang, now isn't the time to be stubborn. Let Qingwan heal you. Consider it her apology. Qingwan nearly bit through her own teeth. Why should she apologize? She didn't do anything. But she couldn't speak up, not with her secret hanging over her head. I pointed at her hands and grinned. She was just picking at her feet. That's not sanitary. What if she gives my wound athlete's foot?
There are no real doctors around.
That'd be hard to treat. Qingwan's face turned beet red. I called her out for scratching her feet. In front of Gu Jibei. Gu Jibei froze. Now that he thought about it, she did touch her feet earlier. And then they hugged. Qingwan blurted out in a panic. I don't have athlete's foot. Jibei, smell them if you don't believe me. I nearly lost it. I had to bite my tongue to keep from laughing out loud. Gu Jibei flinched. He did not have a foot thing. He dodged her foot, and his handsome face twisted with embarrassment. He expected me to be jealous and furious about their cuddling. Instead, I stood there like a stranger watching a bad comedy show. The look in my eyes was completely indifferent, like I didn't know him at all. That bothered him more than anger would have. Qingwan, stop messing around. Treating the wound is what matters. Treating my wound matters? Did I actually have a place in his heart? Qingwan wanted to keep poking at me. She pouted, Jibei, you're disgusted by me now. He didn't answer. He was genuinely afraid she'd insist on making him smell her feet.
Not in front of me.
He rushed to wash her hands clean.
There.
Happy now, he said to me. I held out my hand. This time the golden light didn't attack me. I figured it was because Qingwan was willingly coming to me, or maybe because I wasn't trash-talking them in my head. I tested it. I mentally called them Trash Man and Trash Woman, locked together forever. And sure enough, the fading golden glow around her started brightening again, ready to strike. So that's how it worked. The golden light, the heavenly protection around the female lead, reacted to hostile thoughts about her. I cleared my mind fast before it could hit me. I'd need the white jade ring and the villain system to figure out how to deal with this properly. Qingwan's healing energy flowed into me. My hand wound closed up perfectly, not even a trace left. I rolled up my sleeve and showed her the zombie scratch on my arm. Keep going. She'd just awakened her ability. Her energy was running thin. She was about to say she needed a break, but I leaned in close. Qingwan, you're not going to stop healing me, are you? I got this wound saving your life, remember? I dragged out the last word nice and long. She clenched her jaw behind that gentle smile. Of course not. She kept pouring energy into me. Sweat rolled down her forehead. Her lips went white. She was draining herself dry. Gu Jibei frowned. Qingwan, don't push yourself. She was about to give up. Then she caught my look. I was smirking at her like she was pathetic, like she couldn't handle it. That did it. Pride kicked in. She gritted her teeth and kept going. Once all my wounds were healed, I felt amazing. I swung my arm around a couple times. Healing abilities really were something else. Qingwan collapsed against Gu Jibei, gasping for air. I was honestly worried she might pass out and stop breathing. She grabbed his hand, looked at me, and after a long pause said, Yun Jiang, I have a favor to ask. Then don't ask. I won't agree. She nearly choked. I cut her off before she even started. She pushed through anyway. Yun Jiang, you can see it by now. Jibei and I truly love each other. Your engagement is just a business arrangement. There's no real feeling between you two. You won't be happy.
Please.
Let us be together. She was going all in today. Gu Jibei looked nervous, watching me closely for a reaction. I shrugged. Oh, that's it. Just oh. Gu Jibei looked crushed. Since childhood the original me, had been obsessed with him. I followed him everywhere, treated him like my personal property, went nuclear on any woman who got close to him. Now I was standing here completely unbothered. The contrast was messing with his head. I noticed the disappointment in his eyes. He actually wanted me to freak out. He enjoyed being chased. This man was twisted. Too bad. I wasn't the original Yun Jiang. Qingwan blinked.
So.
You agree. She'd been expecting an explosion, screaming, crying, hair pulling. She wanted Gu Jibei to see my ugly side. Instead, she got nothing. A little disappointing for her, but also, if I willingly stepped aside, that was even better. She was tired of being called a gold digger and a homewrecker behind her back. At the office, people whispered about her constantly, but she couldn't help her feelings. She was in too deep with Gu Jibei to walk away now. If the original Yun Jiang heard Qingwan asking her to step aside, she would have gone absolutely insane on the spot. Too bad for them, this body had a new person inside now. I had zero interest in fighting over a man, especially this man. Gu Jibei was a piece of garbage in my eyes.
But
if I could squeeze some value out of this trash man through Qingwan, now that was worth considering. I rubbed my hands together and put on a reluctant face. Well, since you two are so deeply in love, I suppose I'm willing to step aside and let you be together. Qingwan looked stunned. Did she hear me right? But I continued, I'll need something in exchange. Otherwise, this is a losing deal for me. Gu Jibei jumped to his feet. Yun Jiang, what do you think I am? I held a finger to my lips.
Sure. Keep it down.
You want to attract zombies? He sat back down, fuming. I crossed my legs on the sofa, arms folded, looking at the two of them on the bed like a businesswoman closing a deal. Gu Jibei, don't forget, our families have been in business together for generations. Everything has a price tag. people included. Our engagement wasn't purely about feelings either. There was profit involved. I called him by his full name this time. No more Gu Gij. He thought I was playing hard to get. The old Yun Jiang used to pull little stunts like this all the time to get his attention. I turned to Qingwan. So, Miss Chiao, what do you think Gu Jibei is worth? He's tall, his face and body are decent enough.
Is he a
Priceless treasure in your heart, or just a weed on the roadside? Gu Jibei's inner thoughts were practically written on his face. Decent enough? Qingwan answered immediately. He's priceless, of course. Gu Jibei straightened up proudly.
See?
He was special to Qingwan. But money is useless now, Qingwan said. Fair point. With zombies everywhere, cash was just paper. You have crystal cores, don't you? I said. It was only the third day of the apocalypse. The main character group had already discovered that zombies had crystal cores in their heads, but they were afraid of side effects and hadn't used them. In the apocalypse, only supplies and crystal cores had real value. Qingwan hadn't awakened her storage space yet, so she had no supplies. Crystal cores were the only option. She frowned. How many do you want? 10,000. Gu Jibei frowned, not because it was too many, but because he thought it was too few. He felt insulted. Qingwan's eyes nearly popped out. She couldn't scrape together that many even if she sold herself. I don't have that many, she said. I glanced at Gu Jibei. I was desperate to dump this trash man, and if I could maximize his value in the process, even better. How many do you have? She counted up everything.
30.
That's all. I clicked my tongue. You'd pay more than 30 for a stray dog off the street. I gave Gu Jibei a pitying look. Gu Gij, I had no idea you were only worth this much in Qingwan's heart. He was furious. I just compared him to a street dog. And 30 cores? That's what he was worth. Jiang, stop messing around. Who's messing around? Go sit over there. I'm doing business here. In the end, since they could only cough up 30, we settled on the dog price, 30 crystal cores. Then we actually signed a written agreement. Qingwan put her name on it, and everything. Gu Jibei couldn't believe they were serious. I sold our entire engagement for 30 crystal cores? He felt humiliated. He stepped forward to stop it, but Qingwan blocked him. Jibei, don't you want to be with me? Of course I do, but she held his hand gently. Then let me handle this. I want us to be together openly. You can at least give me that, right? He owed her so much over the years.
Guilt 1.
He backed off, but his face looked like he'd been chewing on rocks. I pocketed the crystal cores with a genuine smile. I was brilliant. I just flipped the male lead for profit. Maximum value extraction from a piece of trash. Yun Jiang, you're not tricking me, are you? Qingwan asked nervously. I grinned like a greedy merchant. Of course I'm. Haha, you should see your face. Just kidding. Congratulations to you both. May you grow old together and have many babies. Gu Jibei had nothing to say. This money-hungry version of me was nothing like the proud, possessive Yun Jiang he knew. Qingwan still looked uneasy. Remember, we have a written agreement. If you go back on your word, relax. Business is all about trust. The Yun family has been in commerce for generations. We never cheat anyone. I stuffed the cores in my pocket, then looked at Gu Jibei and held out my hand. Now, can I have my family's white jade ring back? His face froze. That ring was an heirloom passed down through the Yun family for generations. The original me had given it to him years ago, a gift for her future husband. Now I wanted it back. Qingwan's expression shifted. She'd noticed that ring on Gu Jibei before. She'd asked him for it multiple times, but he always refused. Now she found out it belonged to me all along. The look she gave me turned dangerous. Gu Jibei kept telling himself this was all just a silly game between two girls. Years of history couldn't change that easily. Those 30 crystal cores? He could easily give me that many. Just think of it as compensation for the misunderstanding. He pulled out the white jade ring and handed it over, but couldn't resist adding, "This ring is very valuable. Don't lose it." I scoffed. "The way you talk, someone would think it was your family heirloom." His face went dark. "I was just being nice." "Well, thank you so much for the reminder. From now on, we go our separate ways. You take your road, I'll take mine. The engagement is officially over." He couldn't quite name what he was feeling. Happy to be with Qingwan openly?
Sure.
But there was also something uncomfortable. A tiny sting he couldn't explain. Qingwan sighed with relief and laced her fingers through his. They were official now. Out in the open. The second the white jade ring touched my hand, the electronic voice rang in my head. Congratulations, host. You have obtained the key to the villain system, the white jade ring. Qingwan watched the ring leave with a strange hollow feeling, like something important that should have been hers just slipped away. Well, I'll leave you lovebirds alone. I walked out, ignoring all the hostile faces in the living room, and headed straight back to my storage room. The moment I pushed open the door, I was standing in front of that massive black gate with the gold lettering, Villain System. Please insert the key to activate the villain system. I shoved the ring into the slot on the door. In the original novel, the ring needed blood to activate. But apparently that step didn't apply to me. Maybe because I wasn't the female lead. Villain system activating. 10-9-8. 1. Congratulations, host. Villain system successfully activated. So I'd gone from villainous cannon fodder side character to full-blown villain. Hopefully that came with better job security and a longer lifespan. The black doors swung open. Inside was a space the size of several football fields, blue sky, white clouds, sectioned into planting areas, livestock zones, aquaculture ponds, and more. It was enormous. The only problem? Completely empty. I remembered that in the original book, the female lead storage space was only a couple hundred square meters. This was way bigger. Tisich, I should have transmigrated sooner, I muttered. If I'd arrived a week earlier, I could have stocked this place to the ceiling. The original Yun Jiang's family was loaded. They ran medical supply companies and owned a chain of supermarkets across the country. I could have been the supply queen of the apocalypse. Gu Jibei wouldn't have stood a chance. Welcome to the Villain System's exclusive storage space. I am your system butler, Long Outyen. Host, please take care of me from now on. A voice suddenly spoke right next to my ear. I jumped sideways and came face to face with a pair of big, round eyes.
A floating cat.
With wings. No, a flying, talking, winged orange tabby cat named Long Outyen. Mighty and majestic Long Outyen. What a tacky name, I blurted out. Who on earth gave a cat such a ridiculous name? Long Outyen bristled instantly. It's for puffed out. How dare I? Its name was cool and explosive and awesome.
Though.
If it really was that bad, maybe it could be changed. A name was just a label after all. No big deal. Then host, what kind of name isn't tacky? You pick one for me. I tapped my chin and thought for a moment. Doggy. Long Outyen shook its head. That's ugly. Lucky. It shook its head again.
No. Grassroots?
Fortune? Egghead? Dumpling? Stop. I shouldn't have asked. Each one is worse than the last. Just call me Long Outyen. Then why'd you ask me in the first place? Wasted my creativity. I clicked my tongue, annoyed. Those were perfectly good names.
Catchy.
Easy to remember. This cat had zero taste. Just get to the important stuff, I said. Like how this system works. How do I earn points? Complete missions? Expand the space? Draw abilities? I was a struggling web novel author in my past life. I knew exactly how these cheat code system stories worked. I was actually kind of excited. The little thing was pretty cute in a weird way. I reached out to poke it. My finger went right through. It wasn't solid. Some kind of hologram? Long Outyen coughed. Host, I'm very weak right now. I don't have a physical body. You'll need to complete tasks to power me up. Eventually I'll be able to fight alongside you. It was stuck in starter mode. Couldn't leave the space. Only I could see it. Once I got stronger, it could come out and battle with me. Go on. So it was a spirit pet combat type. But honestly, looking at it, it didn't seem very impressive. It was a cat. How tough could a cat be? Fly around and scratch someone a few times? Host, we share a mind link. I can hear your thoughts. And could you please have a little faith in me? I'm very powerful once I level up. Don't look down on me. Sure, you're amazing. Keep going with the introduction. Long Outyen got serious. Allow me to formally introduce myself again. I am Long Outyen, your exclusive villain system butler. Our mission is to face slap the male and female leads of this novel. Every time you humiliate them, you earn face slap points. Points are currency. You can spend them in the system shop. It waved a paw and a holographic interface appeared in front of me. The shop was touchscreen, packed with items, but most of them were grayed out and blurry. What's this? You open a shop but won't let me buy anything? Look here, host. There's a gotcha draw. 1,000 points gets you a random permanent ability. Once you draw your first ability, the full shop unlocks. So that was the catch. Specific unlock conditions. I was genuinely curious what the shop had inside. The original Yun Jiang died without ever awakening a single ability. With this system, I was about to rocket into the sky. Ding! Host, a new message has been detected. Would you like to claim it? Claim it. Congratulations, host. You have received the beginner welcome package. 100 points and 2 beauty pills. 100 points was decent. The beauty pills sounded kind of useless though. All flash, no substance. Long Outyen read my thoughts immediately. These beauty pills don't just make your skin glow. They also flush dark toxins from your body, strengthen your constitution, and slightly boost your speed and strength. They're actually quite rare and valuable. Fine. They were free anyway. No reason to complain about free stuff. A white ceramic bottle appeared in my hand. Inside were 2 ice blue pills, frosty mist rolling off them. They look pretty cool. No idea how they'd taste though. Ding, another new message detected. Would you like to claim it? Claim. Claim everything. 2 notifications popped up in my head right away. Congratulations, host. First successful face slap of the male and female leads. Double reward, 60 points. Congratulations, host. Successfully reclaimed the original storage space key, the white jade ring. Reward, 50 points. So the arguing with Zhou Sha and the whole scene with Qingwan had already earned me points. This villain system wasn't half bad. It gave me 110 points right off the bat. At this rate, I just needed to keep stirring things up and I'd hit 1,000 points in no time to draw my first ability. Then another notification. Side quest triggered. Collect 10 tons of supplies within 3 days. Reward, 100 points. Not bad, a side hustle. The pay was a little low, but I needed to gather supplies anyway now that I had a storage space. Might as well get paid for it. Something was still bugging me though. That golden light around Qingwan. I asked Long Outyen about it. What's that golden glow on the female lead? That's the light of heavenly Tao, special divine protection for the male and female leads. When they feel seriously threatened, it attacks whoever's trying to hurt them. Absolutely disgusting. So that was the plot armor. That's why the original me pushed Qingwan into a zombie horde, and she barely got a scratch. And that's why the golden light attacked my hand when I tried to mess with her earlier. How do I get rid of it? I came to this world, and I was going to avenge the tragic original Yun Jiang. Tear apart the scumbag man, stomp on the green tea woman, and let them taste what it felt like to have their fortune and destiny stolen. Great minds think alike, host. The golden light feeds on the lead's fortune and lucky encounters. If you steal their opportunities and destiny, the heavenly Tao's protection weakens. Eventually those two will be like clay in your hands. Long Outyen was practically vibrating with excitement. It said toppling a world's heavenly Tao was the ultimate achievement for any villain system. I smiled. Perfect. That was exactly what I planned to do. Alright, send me back out. Host, this is your consciousness, see. Just use your mental awareness to leave. Wait, my physical body didn't come in here? Nope. Time inside doesn't affect time outside. You leave at the same moment you entered. Also, you can communicate with me through your thoughts anytime. I, Long Outyen, am on duty 24 hours a day. Always here, always ready. It just had to squeeze its own name in there. So dramatic. That stupid name wasn't even as good as Doggy. Simple, direct, down to earth. Long Outyen caught that thought, and internally panicked. Good thing it didn't accept my suggestion. Imagine being called Doggy for the rest of its life. The horror. When I came back to reality, I was still in the storage room. Looking around, there was actually a decent amount of useful stuff in here, cleaning supplies, tools, random household items. My space was huge and empty. Might as well start filling it. I placed my hand on the scattered items. They vanished instantly. In under a minute, the entire storage room was cleaned out.
Completely bare.
I looked at my palm. This space ability was incredible. Of course it is. Villain system products are always premium quality, Long Out Yen said smugly, having caught my thought. I'd barely stood up straight when someone knocked on the door. I frowned, walked over, opened it, and leaned against the doorframe with my arms crossed.
It was Su Xianhua.
What now? I raised an eyebrow. She looked at me with barely hidden contempt. In her mind, I was the team's biggest parasite. Without Gu Jibei, I'd be dead already. But remembering what happened to Zhou Sha's face, she took a big step backward before speaking. Gu, the boss wants you in the main hall, she said in a bossy tone. I rolled my eyes. Not going. I slammed the door in her face. If she hadn't stepped back, she would have gotten the same treatment as Zhou Sha. Her face went red behind the closed door. I heard her hiss, "You crazy woman!" Then her footsteps stomped away. Out in the living room, Qingwan was sitting on the couch looking fragile and pale, leaning against Gu Jibei's shoulder. She'd overused her healing ability on me and was completely drained. She looked like a beautiful piece of porcelain about to shatter, the kind of image that made men want to protect her. Chen Jing was staring at her with his jaw tight. He resented Gu Jibei even more now. A man who couldn't even protect his own girlfriend didn't deserve to stand next to Qingwan. Li Wei sat nearby looking sour and jealous. And Gu Jibei? He was still processing the fact that his engagement just got sold for 30 crystal cores. Where's Yun Jiang? Chen Jing asked when Su Xianhua came back alone. She looked constipated, like I could make her come.
She didn't even acknowledge me.
If I hadn't dodged fast enough, my face would have been smashed too. That Yun Jiang is getting more and more out of control, Gu Jibei said coldly. Qingwan smiled sweetly and squeezed his hand. Don't be angry at her, Jibei. She's a rich heiress. She's been pampered her whole life. The apocalypse is a lot to adjust to. It's normal for her to have a temper. He held her hand and smiled with approval. Qingwan, you're always so understanding, Zhou Sha piled on immediately. Some people are just different. Qingwan is so kind. Yun Jiang isn't even worthy of carrying her shoes. Every time Zhou Sha opened her mouth, her swollen face throbbed with pain. She was still covered in scrapes from crashing into the junk pile. Gu Jibei cleared his throat. I called everyone here to clear something up. He wanted to settle the issue about whether I pushed Qingwan. No more rumors, no more trouble. Qingwan knew what was coming. She nodded and spoke in her gentle voice, fists clenched tight under the table where nobody could see. I tripped and fell into the zombie crowd on my own. Yun Jiang got hurt trying to save me. Gu Jibei had already decided it wasn't me. She had no choice but to go along with it. If she contradicted him now, she'd look petty and unreasonable. Her only option was to wait and catch me slipping later. Let Gu Jibei see my true colors on his own. That's impossible. Qingwan, did Yun Jiang threaten you? Li Wei couldn't keep quiet. The second Qingwan told everyone that I saved her, he lost it. There's no way Yun Jiang saved you. She hates you. Su Xianhua jumped in too. Yeah, Yun Jiang would never save Qingwan. Qingwan put on her best, reluctant but sincere, face, eyebrows slightly furrowed, voice soft and hesitant. No, really. Yun Jiang wouldn't hurt me, but everyone could read her micro-expressions. They could tell she was lying through her teeth. They figured Gu Jibei must have forced her to cover for me. Chen Jing's face went ice cold. He glared at Gu Jibei, but said nothing. Gu Jibei was the team leader and a water-type ability user. In a world where clean water sources were contaminated, he was their only supply of drinkable water. Nobody could afford to get on his bad side. So they all swallowed their anger and quietly blamed me in their hearts. With that settled, Gu Jibei moved on to the real reason he called the meeting. He put his arm around Qingwan's shoulders and announced proudly, "Good news, everyone." Qingwan awakened an ability. The whole room lit up. Everyone started talking at once. Qingwan acted shy about it. I'm afraid I'll disappoint you all. It's just a healing ability. No attack power. I really wished I could awaken something that lets me fight alongside everyone. Qinjing's sour face softened immediately. That's incredible. A healer is rare. With you around, nobody has to worry about injuries anymore. Li Wei was beaming. It doesn't matter if it's not an attack ability. Qingwan, I'll protect you. Gu Jibei shot him a death glare. Nobody was protecting his woman except him. Chunjing also let out a cold snort. Li Wei realized he'd gotten too excited and backpedaled fast. I mean, you're a healer, so you just stay behind us. We'll all protect you. Qingwan smiled gracefully. Thank you, everyone. She was about to announce that Gu Jibei and I had broken off our engagement, but Zhou Sha cut in first. Qingwan, since you're a healer, can you fix my face? Zhou Sha's voice was almost pleading. Her face was still swollen like a balloon. Qingwan looked troubled.
I'm sorry.
I used up all my ability healing Yun Jiang's wounds. I have nothing left. She leaned weakly against Gu Jibei, looking even more fragile than before.
Then,
Okay, I'll wait until you recover, Zhou Sha said, trying to hide her disappointment. She could only blame me. I'd used up all of Qingwan's healing energy on myself. How selfish could one person be? Su Xiaonhua perked up. Can't you just absorb crystal cores to recharge? Then you could heal Sha Sha right away. I really want to see her ability in action. They discovered a few days ago that the diamond-shaped stones inside zombie skulls could boost and restore abilities. But they'd been too scared of side effects to actually use them. All the team's crystal cores had been given to Gu Jibei and Qingwan for safekeeping. Gu Jibei's eyebrow twitched slightly. Qingwan bit her lip, covered half her face with her hand, and said in a tiny, ashamed voice, "The crystal cores are gone." What? Qinjing shot to his feet. Did you lose them in the zombie horde? I gave them to Yun Jiang. Dead silence. Those 30 crystal cores weren't just hers. Most of them belonged to Gu Jibei and the rest of the team. She'd handed over everyone's property without asking a single person. You gave them all to Yun Jiang? Qinjing couldn't believe it. Qingwan's eyes went watery and round. It's my fault. Qinjing, I promise I'll pay everyone back, he sighed. He couldn't stay mad at her when she looked like that. It's fine, Qingwan. I'll just kill more zombies. The others didn't dare complain out loud, not with Qinjing and Gu Jibei both siding with her. But they were all thinking the same thing. Next time, they'd never let Qingwan hold their crystal cores again. Safekeeping apparently meant giving them away to the enemy without asking. Li Wei stood up, furious. I'm getting those cores back right now. He stormed toward my storage room. Nobody stopped him. They all wanted to watch the show, and getting the cores back would be a bonus.
Bang, bang, bang.
He hammered on my door so hard the dust on the walls started falling. Yun Jiang, open up. Open the door. The others winced. He was being way too loud. What if he attracted zombies? Before they could stop him, they heard my voice from inside. Knock, knock, knock. What are you, the Grim Reaper? I was done. Absolutely done with these people. Every single one of them was insane.
What did they want now?
I yanked the door open and screamed right in Li Wei's face at the top of my lungs. Aha! What do you want? Crazy?
Fine.
Let's all be crazy then. My scream echoed through the entire villa. Li Wei stumbled backward, ears ringing, face frozen in shock. Gu Jibei jumped up and ran to the window. He pulled the curtain aside. Outside, the zombies that had been relatively calm were now going wild. Rotting faces pressed against the glass, leaving trails of reddish-brown liquid. Their mouths made horrible gurgling sounds. More zombies gathered at the front door, slamming against it. The door creaked under the pressure. They were getting surrounded. Yun Jiang, you're insane. You attracted all the zombies. Zhou Sha clung to Su Xiaonhua, terrified. Someone muttered. Of all people to mess with, he had to provoke her. She loses it and there goes everyone's safety. After my little performance, everyone looked at me with pure fear. Like I was something terrifying. A lunatic. If the zombies broke through, they'd all die, and it would be my fault. Inside my head, Long Out Yen was losing its mind with excitement. Host, you're amazing. Scaring them all like that. That's what a proper villain looks like. It was so hyped you'd think it was the one who screamed. My scream shut everyone up for a good 30 seconds. Then Gu Jibei stepped forward, voice dripping with annoyance. Yun Jiang, do you realize what you just did could get us all killed? Zombies had bad eyesight, they mostly tracked by sound and smell. The team had been careful about noise this whole time. I shrugged. So, what? As long as the male and female leads were here, nobody was dying. That was how the plot worked. And everyone else? Not my problem. I was a stranger in this book world. Taking care of myself was enough. Besides, I was a villain now. Villains gotta act the part. I smirked at their terrified faces. Gu Jibei, Li Wei was the one pounding on my door like a maniac. But you come yell at me? Talk about double standards. Congratulations, host. Face slap value, 10. You earned 10 points. Qinjing scoffed and cracked his wrist. Jibei, there's no reasoning with this lunatic. For everyone's safety, make her hand over the crystal cores and kick her out. Li Wei jumped on the bandwagon immediately. The vice captain is right. Look at her. She screams every time she sees a zombie, attracts danger everywhere she goes, and just waits for people to save her. She's dead weight. Gu Jibei threw Li Wei a cold look. You've got nerve talking. This whole mess started because of you. Zhou Sha chimed in eagerly. I agree with the vice captain. Xiaonua, don't you think so? Su Xiaonua nodded like a bobblehead. Absolutely. Gu Jibei went quiet, frowning. Qingwan stepped in with her soft voice. Jibei, no matter what, Yun Jiang is still your little sister. She knew Gu Jibei wouldn't actually kick me out over this. Not unless I did something worse, like attacking her again. Qingwan, you're just too kind, Zhou Sha said. You're nice to her, but she'll never be nice back. And I still don't believe you tripped into that zombie horde on your own. Su Xiaonao was right behind her. Good people get good karma. Qingwan awakened a healing ability because she deserves it. Listening to all of them take turns bootlicking, I burst out laughing. These people were unreal. What are you laughing at? Gu Jibei stared at me. Everyone suddenly realized they'd been openly discussing kicking me out, and I wasn't upset or scared. I was laughing. I dropped the smile. I just think you're all hilarious. Qinjing snorted. Who's the funny one here? He was probably fantasizing about me crying and begging them not to throw me out. Without them, I was nothing. He'd get revenge for Qingwan since Gu Jibei wouldn't. I looked at Qinjing. He really did walk right into this one. I sighed. You're the funny one, obviously. You're in love with Qiao Qingwan, but you hide it like a coward, watching the woman you love cuddle up in another man's arms every single day. What are you, a ninja turtle? His deepest secret, ripped wide open in front of everyone. His face went stiff with humiliation. He'd been in love with Qingwan since the first time they met. She was beautiful, gentle, kind, his dream girl. But she was with Gu Jibei, his classmate, who had money and power. So he buried his feelings and played the protective big brother role instead. Yun Jiang, what nonsense are you spouting? He snapped. That idiot actually thought I called him a turtle. He knew Qingwan would never choose him. He just wanted to silently guard her from the shadows.
Was that so wrong?
Qingwan put on her best confused, innocent look, staring at Qinjing like she had absolutely no idea. Qingwan, don't listen to her. I only see you as a sister. She's making things up. Gu Jibei glanced at Qinjing with narrowed eyes. His male instinct had always told him something was off about how caring Qinjing was toward Qingwan. Now it all made sense. Qingwan turned and saw Gu Jibei's dark expression. He was looking at her and Qinjing like a husband who just caught his wife cheating. Jibei, don't misunderstand. I only see Qinjing as a brother. I really didn't know. Qiao Qingwan, there's no way you didn't know Qinjing likes you. You enjoy the attention from your little puppy dogs while pretending to be clueless. Classic. Congratulations, host. Face slap value, 20. You earned 20 points. Qingwan's tears started flowing. She put on her most innocent face. Yun Jiang, I don't understand what you're saying. I always treated Qinjing like family, and I treat you like my own sister too. I don't know where I went wrong. I'm sorry, let me apologize, okay? Then she started wailing. Full-on dramatic sobbing. Qinjing and Li Wei looked like their hearts were shattering into pieces watching her cry. Congratulations, host. Continuous face slap value, 20. You earned 20 points. Wait, Making the female lead cry gives bonus points? This was the best job ever. I absolutely loved this. Yes, host. The more vicious and face-slapping your behavior toward the leads, the higher the points. Also, small bonus tip, the female lead's fake crying counts too. That's right. She was fake crying. I knew from the book that Qingwan was fully aware of Qingjing's feelings. He'd even subtly confessed when she first arrived in High City. She heard it loud and clear but brushed it off smoothly. She enjoyed having admirers worship her, but she'd never commit to any of them. The second they stopped being useful, she'd kick them to the curb. Li Wei charged at me. Yun Jiang, I'm the one who came to you. If you have a problem, take it up with me. Why are you bullying Qingwan? He couldn't figure out how his mission to get the crystal cores back had turned into me roasting Qingwan. She was such a wonderful girl. Only a vicious monster like me could be cruel enough to make her cry. This guy couldn't even be a proper simp. No wonder he died fast in the book. He looked decent enough, but his temper was a firecracker, and Qingwan was the fuse. Who are you to her? Take it up with you? You're nobody, I said coldly. This guy barely got 2 lines in the whole book. The most forgettable cannon fodder imaginable. Gu Jibei looked at me like he was seeing a stranger. I was nothing like the little girl he grew up with. Yun Jiang, that's enough. Qingwan isn't that kind of person. Stop being such a bully. This isn't your family's mansion. Nobody here is going to spoil you. He pulled Qingwan into his arms protectively while lecturing me. I almost laughed.
You say that like
You've ever spoiled me or treated me well. If he ever truly cared about me, why did the original Yun Jiang die alone from a fever in a storage room? Why did he throw her away and then shamelessly enjoy everything the Yun family gave him afterward? I wanted to kill both of them right then and there. They made me sick. The instant that thought crossed my mind, blinding golden light exploded from both Gu Jibei and Qingwan's bodies. It was like staring into a spotlight, thousands of what's beaming straight at me. Interesting. The heavenly Tao was really overreacting. It seemed terrified of me. Maybe because this body had a new soul inside it now. Congratulations, host. Face slap value. 10 points. 10. Qingwan grabbed Gu Jibei's arm and nestled into his chest, voice trembling. Jibei, Yun Jiang just hasn't accepted how much things have changed for her. Let's not argue with her. She'll get over it in a few days. Translation: she got her 30 crystal cores and still wants Jibei to pamper her like before?
dream on.
Gu Jibei belongs to me. That's what she was really thinking. Chun Jing jumped in. We should throw her out. She spreads rumors, causes infighting. She's a cancer to this team. He was afraid Gu Jibei would blindly side with me, so he pushed harder. Are you really still going to protect Yun Jiang at a time like this? Gu Jibei went quiet. They'd already planned to move out once Qingwan woke up. But I was like a ticking time bomb, going off at random. He was torn. Part of him didn't want to deal with me anymore. But he couldn't bring himself to completely abandon me either. Li Wei, Zhou Sha, and Su Xiaonhua all piled on. We made you leader because we trusted you. You can't keep playing favorites with Yun Jiang. All she does is cause trouble. She's lazy with chores, she screams and attracts zombies, and she bullies Qingwan nonstop. Make her give back the crystal cores and leave. I watched them gang up on me. I'd thought that by getting Qingwan to clear my name, making her say she tripped on her own, things would turn out differently than in the original book.
Nope.
They still wanted me gone. Did they think I wanted to stay? Being around these people felt like bad luck rubbing off on me. But I needed to keep face-slapping the leads to earn points and unlock my abilities. I couldn't leave yet. Oh please, just say you want my crystal cores. But too bad, they're gone. I just awakened an ability and absorbed every single one. What? You absorbed all 30? Wait. You awakened an ability. Zhou Sha was furious at first, then it sank in. I had an ability now too. She was burning with jealousy. Why did someone like me get blessed by heaven while she got nothing? And how come absorbing that many cores didn't kill me with side effects? Gu Jibei and Qingjing had actually sent Su Xiaonhua to fetch me because they wanted to ask if I'd awakened. Instead, it turned into this whole circus. Their team had 15 people, including Qingwan. Less than 5 had abilities. You expect us to believe that? 30 cores in this short a time? You're lying, Su Xianhua said. She was half right, I hadn't actually absorbed them. My system space didn't need crystal core upgrades. I'd store them all inside my space for later use. But they didn't need to know that. Believe what you want. They're gone. Su Xianhua marched over and shoved open the storage room door. Everyone's jaw dropped. The room was completely empty. Every single item, even the light fixtures on the walls, had vanished without a trace. Where's everything that was in here? Li Wei stormed in, demanding answers. Obviously, I stored it all, I said, turning my palm over casually. I looked at Gu Zhibei and Qingwan with a mysterious smile. This is my ability. Spatial storage. A space ability. Li Wei was stunned. If Qingwan's healing was 1 in a million, then a space ability was equally rare. Both were incredibly valuable. With spatial storage, we could carry massive amounts of supplies without lugging bags around, avoid attracting thieves, and escape quickly. Just 2 days ago, someone on the team died protecting supply bags from zombies. Qingwan's eyes went wide. She'd expected me to awaken something, but not this. Not an ability as precious as her own. Now, they couldn't justify kicking me out. She felt sick inside. A voice kept telling her that the space ability was supposed to be hers, that I stole what belonged to her. Congratulations, host. The female lead Xiao Qingwan is going insane with jealousy. Face slap value, 40. Your total points are now 310. At this rate, you'll be able to draw an ability in no time. I nodded to myself, satisfied. Making the leads angry, while they had to grin and bear it? Best feeling in the world. You could be making it all up, Zhou Sha spat. Who knows what trick you used to hide everything? If you really have a space ability, prove it. I scoffed. Why should I prove anything to you? Who do you think you are? Everyone frowned. I was getting more arrogant by the minute. But the empty storage room was proof enough. Zhou Sha and Su Xianhua just refused to accept it. If you don't prove it, how can we believe you? Qin Jing said, practically snorting the words out. I need you to believe me. I raised an eyebrow. Why should I have to prove myself to these people? Did they think they mattered to me? What a joke. To the original Yun Jiang, every single person on this team had been her enemy. You. Qin Jing pointed at me, fuming. He kept telling himself he didn't hit women. Otherwise, he'd have beaten me to death already. Gu Zhibei sighed. Jiang, just show them. We don't know if you're telling the truth. If you don't, I can't justify keeping you on the team. Were these people blind? The empty room was right there. I looked at Gu Zhibei and the still sniffling Qingwan in his arms. Gu Zhibei, are you threatening me? I'm not threatening you. I'm being reasonable, Gu Zhibei said, taking a deep breath. Qingwan was still sobbing in his arms, looking pitiful as ever. Sure you are, I said with a dry laugh. Then I turned to Qingwan. And why didn't you tell everyone the truth about the crystal cores? You gave them to me willingly, and now you're letting them come after me to get them back? What kind of game is this? Those cores weren't just Qingwan's. Some of them were ours, Zhou Sha snapped. Oh, I gasped dramatically, covering my mouth. So you're telling me she used public funds to pay me? That's embezzlement. Qingwan's tears came pouring down even harder. The crystal cores were my choice to give. I'll definitely pay everyone back, I promise. Congratulations, host. Face slap value, 10. Points, 10. The female lead was a point-generating machine. Every time she cried, I got paid. Qin Jing jumped in to save her before things got worse. That's not the issue right now. We're asking you to prove you have a space ability. You keep changing the subject, probably because you don't actually have one. Li Wei nodded eagerly. Yeah, that makes sense. She's just deflecting to attack Qingwan because she can't prove anything. I just didn't want to play their little prove-yourself game. The second I started jumping through hoops for these people, they'd think they actually mattered to me. Gu Zhibei cut in coldly. I'll pay back everyone's crystal cores myself. Double. Consider it a loan from me. Then he looked at me. Yun Jiang, I'm really disappointed in you. Whether you have the ability or not, there's no need to lie. Excuse me? Gu Zhibei, I refuse to prove it, and suddenly I'm a liar? Is your brain broken? Or are your eyes not working? Congratulations, host. Face slap value, 20. Points, 20. His face turned red. Then why are you being so difficult about it? You've lost your mind. Talking to me like this. What happened to your family's education? Did you feed it all to the dogs? My education? Your skull is so full of crap there's no room for a brain. Who do you think you are to lecture me about manners? You're not my father. You. The whole room went quiet. Everyone had only ever seen the original Yun Jiang chase after Gu Jibei like a lovesick puppy. None of them expected to hear her tell him his head was full of garbage. Someone in the back almost cracked up laughing. Congratulations, host. 50 points. I must have really gotten under his skin. Nothing stings quite like your former worshipper telling you your brain is made of manure.
Vulgar.
Foul-mouthed. Jiang, what happened to you? I don't even recognize you anymore. He looked genuinely pained. I waved my hand dismissively. Like I wanted you to recognize me in the first place. The original Yun Jiang was the unlucky one for ending up with a man like him. He couldn't commit to anything, wanted his fiancée and his true love. How this clown became a male lead was beyond me. I'd actually read this novel a long time ago in my past life. I was hopping between books looking for writing inspiration and got pulled in by the female side character's name. My name. After finishing it, I was so angry I spent 3 days cursing out the author online. Never imagined I'd die and end up inside this garbage book. Qingwan couldn't help smiling when she heard me ripping into Gu Jibei. I took her crystal cores, and I was insulting her boyfriend. She was thrilled. He must absolutely hate me now. Perfect for her. Unbelievable. Gu Jibei snapped, flinging his hand. Since you refuse to prove anything, I'm asking you to leave the team. Find your own way. I looked at Qinjing coldly. Kick me out? Is this your villa? Is your name on the deed? He had nothing to say. This was just a temporary shelter they'd stumbled into. Nobody owned it. Then shut up. I'll stay here as long as I want. It's my freedom. None of your business. I turned around and walked into my room without another word. Talking to these people was a waste of saliva. Once inside, I pulled out a shovel from my storage space and started practicing zombie killing techniques. If I was going to survive in this world, I needed to learn how to fight. Host, aren't you worried they'll actually force you out? You still don't have enough points, Long Out Yen said nervously. Let them try. Getting rid of me won't be that easy. They say it's easy to invite a god, but hard to send one away. I'd show them exactly what that meant. Outside my door, the others were baffled. Li Wei stared at the closed door and huffed. Shameless. Absolutely shameless. A man named Shuezhan had just returned from a supply run and got pulled into the meeting. He'd watched the whole thing unfold. He looked outside. The zombies were swarming worse and worse because of all the arguing. He didn't particularly like me either, based on what he'd heard. But watching this many people gang up on one girl left a bad taste in his mouth.
And he believed me.
The storage room was completely empty. There was no explanation for that except a space ability. The evidence was right in front of their faces, and they refused to accept it. Having a space ability user on the team would make everything easier going forward. But Qinjing was hellbent on kicking me out. That was personal revenge, plain and simple. Qinjing pulled the curtain aside and nearly choked. Zombies. Everywhere. An ocean of rotting heads, as far as the eye could see. There are so many. Su Xiaonhua scrambled backward in terror. It looked like every zombie within miles had come to the party. The sheer number was overwhelming and terrifying. This world really was a nightmare. Even Gu Jibei panicked for a second. They were completely surrounded. If they didn't deal with this fast, nobody was leaving. And as long as the zombies were out there, they couldn't exactly open the door to throw me out either. Keep quiet. Shuezhan. Reinforce the doors and windows. Everyone else, follow me to the second floor to pick off zombies from above, Gu Jibei ordered. Qinjing glanced at my closed door, let out a cold snort, and followed orders. They grabbed clothesline poles, kitchen knives, anything they could find, tied blades to the ends of sticks, and started attacking zombies from the second floor balcony. So many. Qingwan had stopped crying. She stared at the swarm below, stunned. The whole villa now reeked of rotting flesh from the zombie horde pressing against every wall. Qingwan, you're a healer. Just stay behind me. I'll protect you, Gu Jibei said softly. Qingwan's heart melted at his concern. She wiped her tears and said stubbornly, "But I want to fight alongside you too." Qin Jing told Qingwan to rest since her ability was drained. Then he caught Gu Jibei giving him a suspicious look and shut up real quick. Gu Jibei told Qingwan to stand back, and she obeyed, looking dizzy and weak from using up all her energy healing me. Gu Jibei blasted the zombies below with his water ability, knocking apart the ones that were piling on top of each other. The rest of the team found openings and hacked away. Zhou Sha was grumbling while she fought. Why does Yun Jiang get to sit inside doing nothing while we're out here killing zombies? Meanwhile, I was in my room gripping a shovel, swinging it up and down, trying to build some combat skill. But this body was pathetically weak.
Soft.
Delicate. After just a dozen swings, my arms went limp and sore. I could barely hold the thing up. Host, didn't you get those beauty pills from the starter pack? They boost your body too. You should take them now, Long Aotian suggested. Good point. I pulled out the bottle and swallowed both pills at once. A warm current flowed down my throat and spread through my entire body. My stiff muscles loosened up. The soreness in my joints melted away. That heavy, sluggish feeling I'd been carrying gone. On top of that, my skin got even smoother and brighter. White as a peeled egg. The effect was legit. Host, you got even prettier, Long Aotian said with a grin. I touched my face. The book described the original Yun Jiang as a gorgeous, but useless flower vase. I still hadn't even seen what I looked like since arriving. In the apocalypse, being too beautiful without the strength to back it up was a death sentence. Beauty and power had to go hand in hand. Right now, getting stronger was priority number one. Without real ability, leaving the main character group meant certain death. But hey, no girl dislikes getting prettier. I was happy about it. After swallowing those pills, I felt power surging through me. I honestly felt like I could go toe-to-toe with Qin Jing, the strength-type user. Long Aotian, can I get more of these beauty pills? Yes, once you unlock the point shop. They're just a little pricey. Expensive was fine. I'd grind points. Pop a few more of those, and I'd be both gorgeous and terrifying. I could hear the commotion outside. The villa was swarming with zombies, and everyone except me was fighting. I kept practicing my swings for a while, then heard a strange sound from the corner of the room. There was a small window in the storage room. Something was banging against it. I walked over and pulled back the curtain. Zombies. Right on the other side of the glass. Their faces were smeared with blood and filth, eyes cloudy and lifeless, mouths opening and closing, chewing on air. Black slime oozed from their lips and dripped down the window. I stepped back, frowning. These things were absolutely revolting. Crack. The glass couldn't take the pressure anymore and shattered. Shards scattered across the floor. The zombies smelled living flesh and started shoving themselves through the broken window, clawing to get in. Host, quick. Kill them. Host, if you don't move, they're getting inside. Long Aotian understood my hesitation. I came from a peaceful, normal world. No matter how tough I talked, facing rotting, bloody, stinking monsters for the first time wasn't something you could just brush off. I swallowed hard and took a deep breath, gripping the shovel tight. I used to think that American zombie TV show was gross enough. The real thing was 1,000 times worse. Thinking about facing these creatures every day from now on made me want to give up. Maybe I should just let one bite me and get it over with, I muttered. Forget it. I quit.
Can't beat them, join them.
Being a zombie queen sounded way better than getting chased and gnawed on every day. That won't work. You know this body's special. You literally can't be infected by the zombie virus. If you let them bite you, you won't turn. You'll just get eaten alive until there's nothing left. Host, do you want to be eaten? I had no response to that.
Right.
This stupid body was immune to zombie infection. My dream of becoming the zombie king was dead before it started. I took one more deep breath. The instant the first zombie squeezed through the window, I swung the shovel with everything I had. Its head popped like an overripe watermelon. Red-black brain matter splattered everywhere across the floor. Disgusting. I flicked the gunk off my shovel and charged at the second one. Thanks to those beauty pills, I was way stronger now, faster, more agile. These low-level zombies were getting their skulls caved in one by one, but there were just too many. After a while, I started getting tired. I kicked away the latest headless corpse. It hit the floor, twitched twice, and stopped moving. Host, careful. 2 of these zombies have crystal cores in their heads, Long Outyan warned. He explained that zombies developed crystal cores in their brains over time, making them smarter and stronger. The cores could boost ability users' power, but they also made zombies more dangerous, eventually giving them abilities of their own and even partial intelligence. Zombies ranked from level 0 to level 10. Level 0 had no cores and were the easiest to deal with. Level 1 was a step up, and it only got harder from there. These 2 were level 1. Their eyes were still cloudy and empty, but they were locked onto me with a focus the others didn't have. Their torn-up bodies hunched forward. Deep, raspy growls came from their throats, mouths open wide, showing rows of blackened, rotting teeth with bits of fresh meat and black slime hanging off them. The drool just kept coming, dripping onto the floor, making little puddles of filth. I really hated the drooling.
So groß.
Then both of them charged straight at me. Shuizhan had been reinforcing all the doors and windows on the first floor. He was about to head upstairs to help the others, but then he heard the commotion coming from my storage room. He'd heard all the bad things people said about me. His first instinct was to ignore it, but halfway up the stairs, he turned around and came back down. He remembered there was a window in the storage room he hadn't reinforced yet. If zombies got through that window, the whole villa would be in trouble. He opened the door and saw me standing on top of a zombie's back, smashing its skull in with a blood-soaked shovel. Dead bodies and dark stains covered the entire floor. I glanced at him. Shuizhan, one of the few people who actually survived the early days with the main character group. Later he split off from them on his own, and the book never said whether he lived or died. He was new to the team, barely knew the original me. We were complete strangers. He had almost no screen time in the story. I didn't expect him to show up. He was a metal-type ability user, so opening a locked door was nothing for him. He grabbed his knife and rushed in, cutting down the remaining zombies that had squeezed through the broken window. But they just kept coming. The glass was gone, and zombies poured through the narrow opening non-stop. The storage room isn't safe anymore. Let's get out, Shuizhan said. I looked at the growing horde. The 2 of us couldn't handle this many. Those 2 level 1 zombies had already pushed me to my limit. Without those beauty pills, I probably would have died in there.
Too weak.
I was still way too weak. I needed abilities fast. I nodded, dug the crystal cores out of the level 1 zombies' heads, and followed Shuizhan out. The door slammed shut behind us, and immediately the pounding from inside started. Violent, relentless. Even Gu Zhibei and Qinjing heard the noise from upstairs. Go check what's happening on the first floor, Qinjing barked at Su Xianhua. She looked horrified. What if zombies had broken in? Was he sending her to die? Why her? Qingwen was just sitting there resting. Qingwen caught the resentful look and smiled apologetically. Sorry, Xianhua. I really don't feel well. My head is killing me. Su Xianhua went downstairs, grumbling the whole way. The second the door closed, Shuizhan used his metal ability to weld it shut. The effort drained him completely. He dropped to one knee, gasping for air. I watched him. For someone who'd just awakened his ability, being able to do that much was pretty impressive. He forced himself through the exhaustion, shoved a sofa against the door for extra reinforcement, and just barely held himself together. Su Xianhua came down the stairs and saw me already outside the room, the storage door welded shut, something violently hammering against it from the inside. I knew it. Yun Jiang, you let zombies into the storage room on purpose. You're trying to kill us all, she shouted from the staircase. With an imagination like that, you should be writing novels, I said flatly. What would I even gain from letting zombies in? Even if I couldn't get infected, I'd still get bitten and scratched.
It would hurt me.
Shuizhan spoke up between heavy breaths.
It was my fault.
I forgot to reinforce the storage room window and the zombies broke through. I looked at him, surprised. I didn't expect this quiet guy from the book to defend me.
Su Xianhua pouted.
She hadn't expected Shuizhan to take my side either. She also seemed to notice something. Was it just her? Or had I gotten prettier? If Yun Jiang hadn't closed the storage room door, the zombies wouldn't have gotten trapped inside, she yelled, her voice getting louder. Her shouting made the pounding worse. The walls started shaking, plaster crumbling down. It looked like it could give way any second. Shut up, I snapped with an icy glare. She looked at the trembling door and didn't dare say another word. Shuezhan shot her a cold look too, then squeezed out every last drop of his ability. He melted down any remaining metal objects he could find and welded them onto the storage room door, sealing it completely. Not a single crack left. His face went white as paper. Sweat rolled down in huge drops. He started swaying like he was about to collapse. "What's the situation upstairs?" he asked Su Xianhua, voice hoarse. She glanced at me, at the shovel in my hand, coated in blackish-red zombie blood and chunks of white brain matter. My hands and clothes were covered in the same sticky mess. Wait, I actually killed zombies? For the past week, the original Yun Jiang would just scream and freeze whenever zombies came near, waiting for someone to rescue her. And now I was standing here drenched in zombie guts. Not that she cared about me, of course. There are still a lot. They're still clearing them out, she reported. Shuezhan grunted, then dragged his exhausted body upstairs. Su Xianhua reached out to help him. "Let me support you, Shuezhan." He dodged her hand and walked faster. I couldn't help chuckling at the look on her face. She spun around and glared at me. I stuck my tongue out and made a face at her. Then she chased after Shuezhan upstairs. Gu Zhibei turned around and saw the drained Shuezhan. "How's it looking downstairs?" "Handled. Zombies won't get in for now," Shuezhan said curtly. Even completely spent, he didn't rest. He grabbed a weapon and started helping kill zombies from the balcony. Then Gu Zhibei noticed me trailing behind everyone. He frowned. "What are you doing up here?" I smiled. "What? You can be here, and I can't. Last time I checked, you didn't own this place. Congratulations, host." 10 points. I was starting to figure out the pattern. Any verbal jab, any face slap, any time I made the leads uncomfortable, points. Easy money. Gu Zhibei snorted. I'd been firing shots at him all day like I'd swallowed a bag of firecrackers. Zhou Sha couldn't resist. "Great, she's here. Now she'll just scream and attract more zombies. She should have stayed downstairs where she can't cause trouble. If you'd shut your mouth instead of wasting time talking, those zombies wouldn't have gained another row. Get back to work." I fired back. Her fists clenched, so tight her knuckles cracked. Her teeth ground together. Pure hatred in her eyes. But the zombies came first. She'd deal with me later. Su Xianhua looked over at Shuezhan, who was still fighting despite being completely drained, and said with a sour edge, "Shuezhan is exhausted but still fighting. Some people have perfectly good arms and legs but only know how to slack off." She meant me. I raised an eyebrow. "Jealous? You're free to take a break too." Qingwan's expression shifted. Su Xianhua's comment was aimed at me, but it caught her in the crossfire too. She was also sitting around doing nothing. Qingwan slowly stood up and said sweetly, "Yun Jiang, would you like to come sit down?" Everyone was busy killing zombies while Qingwan sat comfortably to the side doing nothing. She offered me her seat, acting all generous. "Yun Jiang, would you like to sit down?" It was a trap, obviously. She expected me to refuse, or if I accepted, everyone would hate me even more for taking the poor exhausted healer's spot. But I didn't care. These people already hated me to the bone. A little more wouldn't make a difference. I was the villainous side character. Might as well own it. I walked right over and plopped down in her seat. Qingwan was stunned. She'd only been pretending to be polite. She never expected me to actually sit down. Now she was standing next to me like a servant, and she was furious inside. She shot me a dirty look, then froze. Something about me had changed. Despite days of rough living that left her own skin looking dull and yellowish, my skin was now glowing white like a peeled egg. Even with messy hair blowing in the wind, I looked stunning. Was I secretly putting on a face mask while everyone fought zombies? Li Wei lost it. "Yun Jiang, Qingwan used up all her energy and you're stealing her seat? Have you no shame?" I rested my chin on my hand. "Qingwan didn't say anything and you're already jumping in? You're not even her boyfriend. Qingwan quickly played peacemaker. I offered. She's younger than me. Taking care of her is the right thing to do. Gu Jibei heard that and was moved by how gracious and kind his girlfriend was. Only a woman like Qingwan deserved to be with him. Thank you for being so understanding, Qingwan, he said softly. Qingwan gave him a sweet smile, then turned to me with eyes dripping fake affection. Yun Jiang, I know you've been upset since the zombie scratch. But I still want to thank you for stepping aside for me and Jibei. From now on, you're my real little sister. Don't. Who's your sister? The Yun family registry doesn't have your name on it, I said with a smirk. Congratulations, host. 10 points, Li Wei sneered. It's the apocalypse now. You still think you're the Yun family princess? Who'd even want to be in your family tree? You couldn't get in if you tried, I shot back. Qingwan waved her hands like a mediator. Everyone, let's stop arguing. Then she smiled at me again. Rest up, Yun Jiang. I'll go help Jibei. She went to the balcony and started dealing with zombies below. I sat there watching everyone work, smiling. If only I had some sunflower seeds and peanuts right now. That would really drive them insane. Zhou Sha glared at me sitting there doing absolutely nothing and nearly burst a vein. She stabbed at the zombies below with a clothesline pole, channeling all her rage. Then suddenly, a massive explosion in the distance. A pillar of fire shot into the sky, lighting up half the horizon. The remaining zombies around the villa got distracted by the blast and started sprinting toward the source of the noise. More explosions followed. The air filled with the stench of burning and black ash drifted everywhere. Could that be the rescue army? Su Xiaonhua said hopefully. Communications had been down for 3 days, but radio broadcasts had mentioned the military deploying forces to save civilians and eliminate zombies. Maybe this nightmare was finally ending. I pressed my lips together. I knew better. The book only briefly covered the zombie outbreak. A meteorite carrying radioactive virus crashed to Earth. Some people mutated into zombies, some awakened abilities, and the rest stayed ordinary. That's wonderful. We're saved. Qingwan's face lit up with hope. I stared at the rising smoke and said nothing. The government did send massive rescue operations, but it was never enough. The virus spread too fast. One scratch, and you could turn in seconds. The rescue mission eventually failed completely. The world fell into full apocalypse. Zombies took over everything. Even plants and animals got infected by the radiation. Let's go check it out, Gu Jibei said, clearly excited. Chen Jing nodded. Shuizhan was too drained to go, so Gu Jibei took Chen Jing and 2 other guys and headed out. My storage room was destroyed, zombie-infested and welded shut. Every other room in the villa was taken. The only spot left for me was a small sofa in the living room, about 5 feet long. I didn't feel like squeezing in with anyone else, so I sat on the couch and started planning. I needed to map out the male and female leads' upcoming lucky encounters, so I could steal them first. According to the original story, this was the point where the villainous side character, me, gets kicked out of the team. Then Gu Jibei leads the group toward Chuan City. Along the way, the current team members die off one by one and get replaced by his real crew. He'd also meet his destined benefactor. And beyond the benefactor, he'd encounter his greatest enemy, the book's biggest villain, Lu Jin. Gu Jibei got absolutely destroyed by Lu Jin multiple times. Without his protagonist plot armor, he would have been dead 10 times over. Before long, frantic knocking came from outside. I heard Qingwan's excited voice from the stairs. That must be Jibei. A white blur zipped past me. She moved so fast, she looked like a ghost floating across the room. She flung the door open. Gu Jibei and Chen Jing stumbled inside, looking like absolute wrecks. Gu Jibei quickly checked outside, then slammed the door shut. Qingwan looked at them with concern. What happened? Where are the others? Gu Jibei's eyes landed on me sitting on the sofa. Whatever he'd just been through was still fresh and raw. It wasn't the military, he said bitterly. It was a bunch of apocalypse lunatics. They blew up a factory. Zhao Wen and Qian Duo are dead, killed by those maniacs. His voice still carried a trace of fear. Those psychos had gotten their hands on guns and ammunition from somewhere. They were firing at everything, didn't care if it was human or zombie. Between the gunfire and their wild, Maniacal laughter. It was pure chaos. If he and Qinjing hadn't run fast enough, they wouldn't have made it back. Qinjing's face and body were covered in scrapes and soot from the smoke. The apocalypse revealed the darkest side of humanity. Only the ruthless survived in a world like this. Those maniacs. They're monsters. Poor Zhao Wen and Qian Duo, Qingwan whispered. Qingwan covered her mouth in shock when she heard the news. Her hopes of rescue were crushed. Su Xiaonhua tried to comfort her. Don't be sad, Qingwan. Zhao Wen and Qian Duo were just unlucky. At least Gu Zhibei and Qinjing made it back alive. But Qingwan shook her head disapprovingly. Xiaonhua, how can you say that? They were our teammates. Su Xiaonua's face fell. She was just trying to make Qingwan feel better, and now she was being scolded for it? Like she didn't care about people dying? What was she supposed to do? Cry and bring them back to life? I couldn't help laughing. Qingwan was a backstabber, even to her own allies. Xiaonhua showed her kindness, and Qingwan used it to make herself look more compassionate by comparison. Tearing others down to build yourself up. And this was the female lead? Qinjing heard my laugh and snapped. Zhao Wen and Qian Duo are dead, and you can still laugh. I shrugged. Their deaths have nothing to do with me. I'm not the one who took them outside to get killed. Jiang, when did you become so cold-blooded? They were part of our team, Gu Zhibei said coldly. I looked at him, and Qingwan. I don't see either of you crying over them either. They came looking for trouble just because I smiled. Unbelievable. Congratulations, host. 10 points. Congratulations, host. 10 points. Qingwan pulled Gu Zhibei back. Let it go, Zhibei. Yun Jiang is still young. Don't argue with her. Still young? He was speechless. I was 20 years old. That's young? Then Qingwan turned to Qinjing with her gentle eyes. Qinjing, you're hurt. Let me heal you. Qinjing nodded, staring at her with an expression so lovesick it was practically dripping. Okay. Gu Zhibei couldn't be bothered with me anymore. He headed upstairs, then immediately turned back around. He didn't trust Qingwan and Qinjing being alone together. Su Xiaonhua chased after them. Wait for me. I flopped down on the sofa and stared at the ceiling. A little later, Zhou Sha stomped downstairs saying there was a team meeting. As she passed me, she snorted. Everyone's invited. Except you. I rolled my eyes. Like I care. Acting all important over nothing. These people had meetings every 5 minutes. Upstairs, the mood was grim after learning about the 2 deaths. Gu Zhibei gave his orders. Everyone rest up this afternoon. We leave at dawn tomorrow. Stay alert tonight. Those maniacs with guns weren't far away. If Qingwan and Shuizhan's abilities weren't drained, he'd want to leave right now. He noticed I wasn't at the meeting. He frowned slightly, then let it go. He quietly told Qingwan, Yun Jiang has a space ability. After dinner tonight, make a list of supplies and have her store everything in her space. The storage room was destroyed. Carrying bulky bags while fighting zombies was a nightmare. Having a space user made everything easier. Qingwan's heart sank. She didn't want to hand important supplies over to me. Her instinct told her that doing so would raise my status in the team above hers. Before she could even object, Li Wei and Zhou Sha spoke up in unison. I don't agree. Giving Yun Jiang all our supplies is like handing a sheep to a wolf. She'll steal everything, Zhou Sha said. Yeah, I don't trust her either, Li Wei added. Qinjing hesitated too. The old Yun Jiang was spoiled and bratty. The new me was a lunatic who attacked everyone in sight. He wondered if the zombie virus had damaged my brain. Plus, he still hadn't seen proof of my space ability. I don't agree either, he said. Everyone else refused too. I said to make a list to track everything, Gu Zhibei argued. Qingwan squeezed his hand. Zhibei, if everyone wants to carry their own bags, let them. We've managed fine the past few days. He sighed and dropped it. Dinner was instant noodles cooked on a gas stove, with a couple of sad yellowish vegetable leaves floating on top. I walked over to take a look, and Zhou Sha guarded the pot like a dog protecting its food bowl. Wouldn't even let me glance at it. The ability users had much bigger appetites than regular people. Gu Zhibei, Qingwan, Qinjing, and Shuizhan took more than half the noodles. Qingwan sat there with a full, heaping bowl and said sweetly to Zhou Sha, Don't worry, Sha Sha. Once I recover, I'll heal your face. She just used what little energy she'd recovered to heal Yun Jiang instead of Zhou Sha. Zhou Sha was crushed, but the vice captain and ability users always came first. That's how things worked. Still, hearing Qingwan's promise cheered her right up. She grinned, then winced because smiling made her swollen face hurt. Thank you, Qingwan. You're the best. She glared at me while she said it. After everyone got their portions, all that was left for me was a few soggy noodle strands swimming in cloudy broth. Su Xiaonhua carried the bowl over and slammed it down on my table. Soup sloshed over the sides, making a gross mess on the surface. Yours, she said flatly. I frowned and looked at the pathetic excuse for food. I'm an ability user too, she scoffed. You do nothing all day. Be grateful you're getting anything. Qingwan saw my bowl and couldn't resist smirking. Then she put on her kind face. Yun Jiang, if you don't mind, I can share some of mine with you. Yun Jiang immediately objected. Qingwan, she treats you so badly, and you still want to help her? You're too kind. You repay cruelty with kindness, but she'll never appreciate it. He wished it had been me who died out there instead of Zhao Wen and Qian Duo. Their little performance almost made me vomit. I cut Qingwan off before she could say another word. Who wants your leftovers? Your spit is probably all over it. Disgusting. I'd already seen Qingwan eating from that bowl. Who wanted her spit-covered leftovers? In her dreams. Congratulations, host. Steady performance. 30 points. Li Wei's eyes bulged. How can you talk like that? He was drooling over Qingwan's offer. To him, even her bathwater would smell like perfume. Qingwan's face went red then white. She'd only been trying to show off her generosity, and I called her dirty. She insisted she washed every day. She wasn't the dirty one here. She pouted at Gu Zhibei. Zhibei, I really don't know what to do anymore. No matter what I try, Yun Jiang is never happy. Then came the almost crying face. Right on schedule. Gu Zhibei's expression went darker than the bottom of a pot. He pulled her into his arms. Don't be sad, Qingwan. When you cry, my heart can't take it. Just ignore Yun Jiang, she snuggled into his chest. Whimpering and sniffling. What little appetite I had was gone. Now I wanted to vomit. The book never mentioned the female lead was a professional crybaby. That's because no host has ever been this good at making her mad. Long Out Yen chimed in. Fair point. Qingwan was written as a universal sweetheart. Everyone adored her. Who would ever upset her? Gu Zhibei finished comforting his woman and turned to me. Yun Jiang, come with me. I need to talk to you. I roll my eyes. You call, and I'm supposed to come running? Who do you think you are? Congratulations, host. 20 points. He tried a different angle. I know you're just playing games to get my attention, but this isn't the time. Stop being so childish. Long Out Yen absolutely lost it in my head. Oh my god. How can a male lead be this cringe? Host, I can't take it. He's so full of himself. I want you to end him right now, I twitched. He still thought I was the old Yun Jiang, hanging on his every word. Sorry, buddy. New soul in this body. I was no longer Yun Jiang. I was Nuhuru Yun Jiang. Upgraded, unhinged, and unimpressed. Gu Zhibei, you need to get your brain checked. Playing games for your attention? You think you're worth it? You greedy, two-timing piece of trash. I was done talking. I grabbed the soup bowl off the table and hurled it at him. He blocked it with his water ability. The scalding broth splashed sideways and drenched Li Wei from head to toe instead. He yelped and screamed. Someone nearby clamped a hand over his mouth before his noise attracted zombies. The bowl bounced off Gu Zhibei's water wall and flew back at me. That cursed heavenly Dao protection twisted its path, sending it straight for my head. I dodged just in time. The bowl shattered on the floor. Host, please calm down. You can't beat them while they have that destiny protection. Just keep verbally roasting them for points. Don't get yourself hurt. Long Out Yen wanted them dead too, but not this urgently. And here I was already throwing things. Also, host 50 points. Yun Jiang, Gu Zhibei couldn't believe I called him trash and threw something at him. If he'd reacted a second slower, he and Qingwan would have been hit. Qingwan trembled in his arms, shoulders shaking with fear. The commotion attracted more zombie sounds outside.
Great.
Now they were more afraid of me than the undead. This villa had terrible soundproofing. Rich enough to buy a mansion, too cheap to insulate the walls. Who's louder now? I screamed right back at Guji. His way was crazy. Mine was crazier. His whole body shook with rage. Please, ma'am, I'm begging you, keep your voice down. A random guy who'd been silent all day finally cracked. He put his hands together and bowed to me desperately. Today had been more exhausting than the past 3 days combined. I flicked a strand of hair from my forehead and looked at him. Since you asked so nicely, I suppose I can take a break. Everyone let out a breath of relief. I turned to Guji. So? You wanted to talk? I was curious what this scumbag had to say. Whatever it was, I was going to tear his soul apart. He exhaled a long, heavy breath. He considered himself a patient man, but I was pushing him to the edge of punching something. Follow me. Qingwan hesitated. Jibei, he gave her a reassuring look. Don't worry, Qingwan. I'll handle everything. I followed him upstairs with my hands shoved in my pockets. He led me to the master bedroom, a fancy European-style suite. Low-key luxury.
Talk.
Say what you need to say. His brow furrowed so deep you could trap a fly in the wrinkles. His sharp eyes locked onto me, full of suspicion. Are you still you? Are you really Yun Jiang? He'd noticed something off about me. The old Yun Jiang never talked back to him, never mocked him, never went out of her way to disgust him. I was a little surprised he'd actually caught on, but I kept my face neutral. Then I laughed. What are you laughing at? He asked, confused. He'd never noticed how beautiful this body actually was. If Qingwan was the cold, distant moon, then I was the blazing sun. If she was a pure white lily, I was a thorny red rose. You're right, I said. I'm not Yun Jiang. The real Yun Jiang? You already drove her to death. I laughed again. When I used to be good to you, you didn't even notice. Now that I don't like you anymore, now that I can't stand you, you suddenly can't handle it. Guji, don't you think that's pathetic? It truly was laughable. He never broke off the engagement with the original me, but he was all over Qingwan right in front of her face. He let Qingwan and her little clique bully the original Yun Jiang until she went insane and turned villainous. He caused everything. Calling him pathetic was being kind. A man who betrayed someone's genuine love deserved to swallow 10,000 needles. But he didn't understand what I meant. All he heard was that the girl who'd loved him for over a decade didn't love him anymore. And he couldn't accept it. He went quiet for a moment. Jiang, I've always seen you as a sister. I looked at him coldly, feeling nothing but heartache for the original Yun Jiang. If you only saw me as a sister, why didn't you say so from the start? Why didn't you break off the engagement? I stepped closer to him. Or was it because you were too greedy? You couldn't give up what the Yun family gave you. You happily took everything the old me offered while keeping your precious moonlight Qingwan on the side. Guji, you wanted it all. Every single benefit. Every single advantage. I'd never met someone so shameless in my life. His brow stayed locked in a permanent frown. After a long silence, he finally managed. I was afraid telling you would hurt you. Oh, please. Have some dignity. I felt sick just looking at him. If he'd told the original Yun Jiang the truth from the start, she never would have chased him all the way to High City. If she'd stayed home, even with the apocalypse, she'd still be the Yun family's little princess. Safe, fed, protected. Drop the act. Your performance is embarrassing, I said. Saying you want it all is actually a compliment. I glanced at him sideways. He looked like his soul had left his body. Who was that sad face for? He invited me to talk, and now he couldn't handle the conversation? Pathetic. Congratulations, host. Points are flying. 100 points. Those few sentences hit him like a truck. He swallowed hard and looked up at me. So, the reason you're treating me like this is because you hate me. My tone was sharp. I'm just returning a tiny fraction of the pain you put on me. That's all. As for hate, hate comes from love. I don't have that for you now, and I never will. I wasn't the original Yun Jiang. I would never fall for a man like Guji. He staggered backward like I'd physically struck him. He leaned against the wall, one hand covering half his face, looking like he was drowning in misery.
I'm sorry, Jan.
I didn't realize how much I hurt you. I've always wanted to take care of you, to make it up to you. So now he understood? That's why I'd been different all day. I wanted to gag again. Your idea of taking care of me was throwing me in a storage room to die alone? Or was it trying to kick me out of the team so I could die in the streets? His lips moved, but nothing came out. He was the one who isolated me yesterday. And today, he'd been ready to throw me out too. Gu Jibei, you genuinely disgust me. His face went ash-gray. He couldn't process hearing those words from the girl who'd loved him her entire life. I found it hilarious. The way he was acting, you'd think I was the one who wronged him. I pulled open the door and walked out, a playful smirk on my lips. Downstairs, the others were whispering excitedly. Yun Jiang's finally getting thrown out. Best news all day. I want to throw a parade. She won't survive till sunrise out there. Good people die young, but cockroaches live forever. Though with her luck, who knows? They all shut up the second they saw me coming down the stairs. I swept them with a cold look, then smiled brightly at Qingwan. Better go comfort your boyfriend. He's falling apart up there. What did you do to Jibei? Qingwan's face went white with panic. I didn't answer. Just gestured toward the stairs, after you. She flew upstairs. Inside the room, Gu Jibei looked like a broken man. She threw her arms around him. Jibei, what happened? What did Yun Jiang do to you? He looked at her with hollow eyes. Qingwan, we should have told her sooner. It wouldn't have come to this. Oh, Jiang. Qingwan's eyes turned red instantly. Jibei.
What do you mean by that? He sighed.
I want to make it up to her. Meanwhile, downstairs, Zhou Sha and Su Xiaono were celebrating. Hurry up and leave. Yun Jiang. Nobody wants you here, I shrugged. Why would I leave? Shameless. Gu Jibei already kicked you out and you're still clinging on, Zhou Sha spat. Li Wei piled on. A tree without bark dies. A person without shame is unstoppable. That's you. Qinjing stared at me coldly.
Leave.
Don't make us throw you out. Shuizhan watched but said nothing. Then Gu Jibei walked out. Yun Jiang stays. The room went dead silent. Everyone was stunned. He'd taken me upstairs to kick me out. Why the sudden change? They figured I must have done something shady to manipulate him. I disagree. We can't keep her, Qinjing said firmly. Gu Jibei's voice was flat. Yun Jiang is my responsibility. She came to High City because of me. I'll bring her back to Chuan City, and she's a space ability user. We need her. Qinjing had nothing to say. I looked at Gu Jibei, guilty face. Then at Qingwan, seething with resentment. I'd been planning to leave once I hit 1,000 points anyway, but if they were going to let me stay and keep farming points, I wouldn't say no. Qingwan was dying inside. After everything, he still wanted to keep me around? Gu Jibei addressed the group with authority. From now on, nobody provokes Yun Jiang or starts conflicts with her. If anyone does, don't blame me for being harsh. Then he took Qingwan back into their room. I smiled, walked over to Zhou Sha, and kicked the leg of her stool. Go make me food. I'm hungry. She glared at me with murder in her eyes. Don't get too comfortable. I made a face at her. A few minutes later, I was happily slurping a steaming bowl of instant noodles, a whole pack, all for me. Zhou Sha was still bitter. Food is already so scarce, and she eats an entire pack by herself. I twirled the noodles on my chopsticks and blew on them right in front of her face, sighing with exaggerated pleasure. So good. She looked like she wanted to strangle me. After eating, I settled into the sofa. Long Out Yen, how many points do I have now? Long Out Yen rubbed its little cat paws together excitedly. Host, you are truly an inspiration. You earned 630 points today. Just 370 more and you can draw your first ability and unlock the shop. Not bad for day one as a villain. I exhaled slowly. At this rate, I'd hit the target by tomorrow. I was actually getting excited about it. Upstairs, Zhou Sha sat on her bed fuming to Su Xiaono. I can't stand her smug face. Why does Gu Jibei keep protecting her? It's infuriating. Su Xiaono sat down beside her. Calm down, Sha. You don't know what kind of person Yun Jiang really is. Don't waste your energy on her. Nobody in this team respects her. She's just a pretty face. They were friends from Chuan City, originally here on a sightseeing trip. 2 days ago, they'd walked out of a tourist attraction, and the people around them started turning into flesh-eating zombies. While running for their lives, they'd bumped into Gu Zhibei and Qingwan's group. Qingwan found out they were heading to Chuan City too, and invited them along. Without that, the two of them never would have made it out of the tourist district alive. Qingwan had been kind and gentle to them. This team was strong. They'd escaped several near-death situations already. That's why Zhou Sha and Su Xiaonhua were so loyal to Qingwan. I just can't accept it, Zhou Sha said bitterly. Qingwan is clearly Gu Zhibei's real girlfriend. Yun Jiang is the other woman. She knows she's the third wheel, and she doesn't even care. Su Xiaonhua hesitated.
But
technically, Yun Jiang is the one who's actually his fiancé. Upstairs, Zhou Sha was ranting to Su Xiaonhua about how much she hated me and how unfair it was that Gu Zhibei kept protecting me. Su Xiaonhua tried to calm her down. She's just a pretty face. Nobody in the team respects her. But then Su Xiaonhua admitted something that made Zhou Sha even angrier.
technically,
Yun Jiang is the actual fiancé. I don't care. Yun Jiang doesn't deserve him. Only Qingwan and Gu Zhibei are meant to be. That's when Qingwan showed up. She'd been standing outside the door, and she'd heard everything, including the part where Zhou Sha called her a homewrecker. Her smile froze for a second, but she recovered fast. In her mind, she and Gu Zhibei were true love. She'd once read a quote, "The one who isn't loved is the real third party," so obviously, the original Yun Jiang was the intruder in their relationship. Besides, the engagement was over now. She just needed everyone to know. She knocked and walked in with her harmless little smile. "Sha Sha, I'm here to heal your face." Zhou Sha and Su Xiaonhua instantly latched onto her arms like she was their favorite celebrity. Zhou Sha was overjoyed. "Qingwan, you're so kind." "Thank you so much." Qingwan smiled and sat Zhou Sha down on the bed. "We're all girls. We should help each other. And a wound like this on such a pretty face? I'd feel terrible leaving it." Zhou Sha's face was average at best, but hearing a beauty like Qingwan call her pretty made her light up inside. "Qingwan, you're just too nice. That's why that little witch Yun Jiang keeps bullying you." Qingwan placed her palm on Zhou Sha's swollen face and started healing. She was smiling warmly, but deep in her eyes there was pure contempt for Zhou Sha. This girl was just a tool. Zhou Sha felt the warm glow of the healing energy and sighed with comfort. No wonder Chen Jing and Li Wei were both crazy about Qingwan. If she were a man, she'd probably fall for her too. Then Qingwan started her performance. She spoke softly, defending me in that way that actually made me look worse. Yun Jiang was just spoiled by her family. Everyone should be more patient. She, actually, hasn't really bullied me that badly. Her voice got quieter and quieter. Her head dropped. Her lips trembled. Her face went pale. She looked like a child who'd been tormented beyond her limit, but was too kind to say it. A single tear fell and landed on Zhou Sha's hand. Zhou Sha flinched like she'd been burned. "Don't cry, Qingwan. I'll go teach Yun Jiang a lesson right now." Qingwan grabbed her hand.
"No, Sasa.
"Don't cause trouble because of me. Zhibei will be angry." She wiped her eyes. "It was just the wind getting in my eyes." Then she dropped the bomb. "By the way, there's something I haven't had a chance to tell you. Yun Jiang isn't Zhibei's fiancé anymore." Zhou Sha and Su Xiaonhua stared at each other. Qingwan continued, her voice dripping with false guilt. "I gave those crystal cores to Yun Jiang because she promised that in exchange, she'd stop interfering between me and Zhibei. Don't worry though. I'll definitely pay back everyone's cores. So that was why Qingwan gave me the crystals." Zhou Sha thought I was shameless for demanding 30 cores. But at least Qingwan and Gu Zhibei could finally be together openly. Their ship had sailed. Now Zhou Sha's big mouth would make sure the whole team knew I had nothing to do with Gu Zhibei anymore. Exactly what Qingwan wanted. Qingwan stood up. "Check the mirror, Sha Sha. Is your face better?" Su Xiaonhua stared at Zhou Sha's face and gasped. "Not a single mark. It's like you were never hurt." "That's incredible." Zhou Sha rushed to the vanity and looked at herself. Completely healed. No swelling, no bruises, no pain.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Qingwan. Your ability is amazing. Way better than Yun Jiang's stupid space thing. Qingwan smiled. I'm glad it worked. Get some rest, both of you. I need to go find Yun Jiang. Jibei said it's not safe for a girl to sleep on the sofa alone, so he wants me to give her my room. What? Zhou Sha nearly exploded. I must have done something to manipulate Gu Jibei. That's the only explanation. Shameless. We weren't even engaged anymore. Su Xianhua was equally shocked. Gu Jibei was making Qingwan give up her room for me? Qingwan watched their reactions with quiet satisfaction, then smiled gently. It's really fine. Jibei is just kind-hearted. He sees Yun Jiang as his little sister, and as his girlfriend, I should take care of her too. Then she left. But in the doorway, she paused. Her fists clenched at her sides,
Pushing her into the zombie horde.
framing her in front of Gu Jibei, humiliating her over and over today. Yun Jiang, you brought this on yourself. I'll make you so miserable in this team that you'll leave on your own. If I can't drive you out, my name isn't Xiao Qingwan. Here's what Qingwan left out. Gu Jibei did say I shouldn't sleep on the sofa. He did ask Qingwan to bring me upstairs. But he never said Qingwan had to give up her own room. She made that part up on purpose, telling Zhou Sha and Su Xianhua to make them angrier at me. Xianhua, this is too much. We need to get revenge for Qingwan, Zhou Sha said, fire in her eyes. Yun Jiang is playing us. She's pretending to back off, but she's scheming behind the scenes. Qingwan is no match for her tricks. We have to help. Su Xianhua thought about it and agreed. She leaned in close to Zhou Sha's ear and whispered, We do this. Then this. Zhou Sha grinned. This time, Yun Jiang will learn not to mess with us. Qingwan went downstairs, satisfied with her work. She found me lying on the sofa with my eyes closed. I heard footsteps and opened my eyes. There she was, standing less than 3 meters away, staring down at me. What? I said, annoyed. You know sneaking up on people in the dark is creepy, right? It was pitch black outside. The only light in the living room was a single candle. In the flickering flame, Qingwan's silhouette looked absolutely terrifying. Her long hair draped over her shoulders, swaying with the candlelight. Half her face was hidden in shadow, with only her eyes visible, watching me with this eerie, predatory look. I wasn't going to lie. She looked exactly like a ghost. Qingwan smiled at me. Yun Jiang, it's not safe sleeping down here alone. Come upstairs and stay with me. I frowned. Get lost. If I sleep next to you, I'll have nightmares. And I'd be afraid you'd try to strangle me in the middle of the night. Congratulations, host. 20 points. Li Wei had just come back from the bathroom and overheard me. How can you talk to Qingwan like that? She's being kind and you throw it back in her face. You can get lost too. Don't disturb your father while I'm sleeping. I curled back up on the sofa. This body was 165 centimeters tall, and the sofa was only 1.5 meters long. Not exactly comfortable. But I'd rather be cramped than share a room with any of those people. Bad luck was contagious. Li Wei ground his teeth. Then his whole tone changed when he turned to Qingwan, suddenly all soft and loving. Qingwan, don't worry about her. It's getting late. Go rest. Qingwan nodded and gave me one long, meaningful look before heading upstairs. I couldn't be bothered with either of them. It had only been 1 day since I transmigrated, and so much had happened. I was exhausted. Slowly, my eyelids grew heavy, and I drifted off to sleep. The men took turns keeping watch through the night in case zombies broke in. In the middle of the night, I felt someone grabbing my calf. Goosebumps shot across my entire body. I kicked out on instinct.
Crash.
A dark figure hit the floor. I bolted upright, yanked my shovel out of my storage space, and was about to smash it down on the shadow's head when it started screaming. Sweetie. Baby.
Don't hit me.
It's me. It's me. Who is this? Calling me sweetie? Baby? Someone was trying to assault me in the middle of the night? I don't care who you are. I'm going to beat you to death. You disgusting creep. I swung the shovel down on the shadow again and again. The figure howled in agony, screaming so loud it woke up the entire villa. If the guy on night watch hadn't stepped in, I probably would have beaten this thing to death. The shadow kept yelling that I was the one who seduced him. Seduced? I'll seduce your mother. Gu Jibei threw on clothes and rushed downstairs. On the living room floor, a figure was kneeling, beaten so badly his face was unrecognizable. It was Wang Guowei, one of the random team members. Help me. Gu Jibei. She's trying to murder me, he wailed. Qingwan, Zhou Sha, and Su Xiaonua were standing together watching. Su Xiaonua pointed at the mess on the floor and gasped dramatically. Oh my! Isn't that Wang Guowei? He tried to run. I stomped on his back hard enough that he couldn't move an inch. How was I this strong? He was a grown man, and he couldn't fight back. His face smashed into the white marble floor. Blood, tears, and snot mixed together into a disgusting paste smeared across his fat face. The marble actually had a face print pressed into it from the impact. Gu Jibei's eyebrow twitched. That snot print was revolting, so thick and sticky. Then there was the smell. Urine. He looked down. Wang Guowei's pants were dark and wet. A puddle was spreading on the floor. I'd beaten the pee out of him. Could something worse be far behind? Someone muttered, Yun Jiang is way too violent. Wang Guowei regretted everything. He should never have let his disgusting urges take over. Help me. Please, he begged Gu Jibei and Qin Jing. Gu Jibei looked at him with disgust, then turned to me. What happened? Qin Jing was still putting on his jacket. Without even asking questions, he assumed it was my fault. Do we even need to ask? This little princess obviously started trouble again. Look what she did to the guy. And where was the night watch? Nobody tried to stop her. The watchman looked miserable. I tried. She hit me with the shovel too. I'm still hurting. I laughed coldly and ground my foot into Wang Guowei's back. Why don't you ask him what happened? Wang Guowei pointed a shaking finger at me. She seduced me. She told me to come find her tonight. Then she went crazy and started beating me. Gu Jibei looked at me, then at Wang Guowei, baffled. She seduced you? Are you serious? The current version of me didn't even acknowledge Gu Jibei's existence. There was no universe where I'd be interested in this pudgy, balding, middle-aged man with a beer belly. Zhou Sha was having the time of her life. Wow, Yun Jiang, I didn't know you had such exotic taste. Wang Guowei. Really? Her eyes bounced between me and the mess on the floor. Su Xiaonua wrinkled her nose. Hooking up in the middle of the night and making this much noise? How embarrassing. Qingwan put on her shocked face. Oh my god, Yun Jiang. This can't be true. You and Wang Guowei? He has a wife and children. How could you be so careless? Then she covered her mouth like she'd said too much. Wang Guowei had joined the group after they escaped the company. His wife and kid had been with him at first, but both got scratched by zombies and turned. Qingwan quickly backtracked, shaking her head. No, Yun Jiang wouldn't do something like that. Wang Guowei, why are you framing her? Wang Guowei screamed that he was innocent. I didn't frame her. She came to me first. She seduced me. I just got weak for a moment. He was a middle-aged man who'd been with plenty of women, but never a high-class rich girl like me. He figured that in the apocalypse, maybe even a sheltered princess had needs. So, he let his disgusting imagination run wild. But he swore he never would have tried anything if I hadn't approached him first. I looked at all their reactions. Zhou Sha's glee, Su Xiaonua's disgust, Qingwan's fake shock, and suddenly started laughing. I'd never even spoken to this Wang Guowei. We'd had zero interaction. So there was clearly a misunderstanding here. And I had a pretty good idea who arranged it. Su Xiaonua jumped to Qingwan's defense. Qingwan, you're too kind. Yun Jiang treats you terribly, and you still speak up for her. Zhou Sha piled on. I bet she and Wang Guowei have something going on. Why else would they be alone together in the middle of the night? She was determined to splash this dirty water all over me. Best case, I get kicked out, no, thrown out. I already figured out what happened.
It was Zhou Sha and Su Xiaonua.
They'd sent Wang Guowei a note using my name. They knew Wang Guowei was a disgusting creep. His wife and kid had just died, turned into zombies, and he wasn't even sad about it. He'd been eyeing every woman in the group with that sleazy look. So they used him as a weapon against me. Their plan was simple. Lure him to me with a fake note, then catch us together in a compromising position and destroy my reputation. Make everyone think I was easy. Too bad their little pawn couldn't even handle a useless flower vase. I beat him so badly, he was on the floor begging like a dying dog. Their entire scheme fell apart. Yun Jiang spoke coldly. I don't care about whatever romance you have with Wang Wei. Just stop creating dangerous situations for the rest of us. I noticed he was uncomfortable when I smiled at him. The old Yun Jiang was an ice queen who only smiled for Gu Jibei. Now I smiled all the time, and every time I did, something bad happened to them. Gu Jibei looked disturbed. He didn't believe it. More importantly, he couldn't accept that he'd lost to a greasy middle-aged man with a beer belly. Wang Wei, tell the truth, he said, voice cold with warning. Wang Wei was still crying. I'm not lying. If Yun Jiang hadn't invited me, I never would have dared. He said he'd barely touched me before I kicked him in the chest and started beating him senseless. I looked around the room slowly, eyes full of contempt. Then I smiled. You say I seduced you? Go ahead then. Tell everyone exactly how I seduced you. I looked him up and down with pure disgust. You think someone like you is worth seducing? Go pee in a puddle and take a good look at yourself. If you don't give me a proper explanation right now, I'll send you to meet your ancestors. I pressed the tip of my shovel against his neck. The dried zombie blood on the blade was still visible. Yun Jiang, don't go too far. Yun Jiang stepped forward. He's a person, not a zombie. Are you actually going to kill him? I ignored Yun Jiang completely. I kept my eyes locked on Wang Wei, pressing the shovel harder against his artery. He was terrified. He looked up at me once, and that single glance was enough to make his breathing stop. Fear and panic flooded his face. In that moment, he understood. I never invited him. He'd been set up. As someone. Someone slipped a note under my door, he stammered. It had your name on it. I was just
coming to meet you.
I didn't think. So there was a note, I said lightly, pulling back the shovel. Where is it? Zhou Sha and Su Xiaonua's faces went stiff. They shuffled backward slightly, grabbing each other's hands for support. Su Xiaonua took a breath and squeezed Zhou Sha's hand. She'd already gotten rid of the evidence. There was nothing to find. It's in my room, Wang Wei said. Find it, Gu Jibei ordered. Wang Wei scrambled to his feet and ran to his room, tearing through everything. The note. Where's the note? His hands shook as he searched. Every time he remembered the look in my eyes, a shiver ran down his spine. If he couldn't produce that note, would they just let him go? He'd been an idiot to let his lust take over. I was under Gu Jibei's protection. What was he thinking? Zhou Sha stood in the doorway watching him dig through his stuff. There is no note. You made this whole thing up. Yun Jiang, there's nothing wrong with falling for an older man. Everyone has different taste. She was still grinning, so she kept going. Why are you being so mean to your little boyfriend? Couples should talk things out instead of making a public scene. How embarrassing. I smiled at her. These two female side characters were equal parts wicked and stupid. The next second, I was right in front of her. Before she could react, my hand cracked across her face. Slap. Her ears rang. A bright red handprint bloomed on her cheek. She stumbled sideways and caught herself against the wall. Su Xiaonua's face went white. She looked up and met my eyes, cold as a snake's, but still smiling. There was something dangerous in that smile. Can't leave you out, I said softly. Slap. Another one landed on Su Xiaonua's face. The force knocked her off balance. Both of them ended up crumpled against the wall, clutching each other. Then my eyes found Qingwan. She flinched. She saw the look in my eyes and stepped backward, genuinely afraid. Host, please. You can't hit her. The heavenly Tao will destroy you. Long Out Yen screamed in my head. I took a deep breath. The golden light around Qingwan was blazing bright. She was untouchable for now. Having an invincible force field must be nice. Everyone else stood frozen. Gu Jibei pulled Qingwan behind him protectively. She let out a shaky breath. Just now, I'd looked at her like I wanted to eat her alive. Her palms were drenched in sweat. She kept telling herself she had nothing to do with this. So why was she so scared? Yun Jiang, what is wrong with you? What did Zhou Sha and Su Xiaono ever do to deserve that? Gu Zhibei demanded. Yeah, they were just telling the truth, Li Wei said, defending them. I swept Li Wei with a look. These three, Li Wei, Zhou Sha, Su Xiaono, were the female lead's loyal attack dogs. A perfect triangle of bootlickers. Don't make me slap you too, I said coldly. Li Wei glanced at the two girls holding their faces, thought about it for half a second, and shut his mouth. Not his problem. Why volunteer for a beating? Zhou Sha and Su Xiaono recovered enough to speak. Zhou Sha was the louder one, but her eyes were darting around and her teeth were chattering. Yun Jiang, are you insane? Why did you hit us? Su Xiaono held her burning cheek and whimpered. We didn't do anything to you. I raised an eyebrow, stretching out each word nice and slow.
Is that?
So, Su Xiaono was bawling her eyes out, holding her swollen cheek. We can't stay in this team anymore. Yun Jiang is an emotionally unstable psycho who attacks people for no reason. No reason? I almost laughed. Yesterday, they tried to kill me. Today they tried to ruin my reputation. What kind of grudge was that? I demand Yun Jiang be removed from the team, or she'll get us all killed, Zhou Sha cried. Others chimed in agreeing. Chun Jing spoke with a flat expression. Every single incident traces back to Yun Jiang. Zhibei, I know you value old friendships and your ties to the Yun family. But someone who can't even control her own emotions is going to get us all killed before we leave High City. You can't gamble with our lives. I looked at Zhou Sha with sharp eyes and a mocking smile. Zhou Sha, Su Xiaono, are you really saying I hit you for no reason? Their faces twitched with panic. Did I already know it was them? I watched them exchange nervous little glances and almost lost it. These two were incredibly stupid. At a time like this, instead of playing innocent, they were basically confirming their guilt with eye contact. They might as well have written, "We did it," on their foreheads. Even Qingwan quietly put a hand to her forehead. She should never have relied on these two idiots. Instead of distancing themselves and pushing to get me kicked out, they were having a tender moment staring into each other's eyes. Wang Guowei came stumbling out of his room empty-handed, shaking all over. He dropped to his knees in front of me. Miss Yun, I was tricked. Someone set me up. Please, forgive me. I'll never do it again. He kept knocking his forehead against the floor, terrified I'd finish what I started. He wasn't willing to leave this team, and he definitely wasn't willing to die. Everyone started looking at Zhou Sha and Su Xiaono more carefully. Wang Guowei was a creep, sure, but was he really brave enough to go after me on his own? Touch the tigress's tail? No way. Of the people who hated me the most, Chun Jing wouldn't stoop this low. Li Wei didn't have the brains. That left only Zhou Sha and Su Xiaono. And those obvious little glances between them? Dead giveaway. Zhou Sha and Su Xiaono saw Wang Guowei begging on his knees and felt their hearts jump into their throats. But they were in too deep now. They had to push through. Su Xiaono tried again. To prevent something like this from happening again, we should remove Yun Jiang from the team. Zhou Sha played her card. Gu Zhibei, have you forgotten that Yun Jiang pushed Qingwan into the zombie horde? Don't you want justice for her? Gu Zhibei replied flatly. Qingwan already said it wasn't Yun Jiang. Li Wei couldn't hold back anymore. Thinking about how I'd been insulting him and bullying Qingwan non-stop, his temper snapped. I agree with Zhou Sha and Su Xiaono. Make the call, Gu Zhibei. They were dead set on throwing me out. Even if I refused to leave, they'd drag me out by force. Chun Jing looked at me coldly. Space ability or not, if I'd hurt Qingwan, I had to go. Not killing me was already mercy enough. I also think Yun Jiang shouldn't stay with us, he said heavily. Gu Zhibei looked torn. Just yesterday he'd promised to bring me back to Chuan City. But now every single person was against me. If I stayed, the team would fall apart. Morale was already destroyed. Compared to keeping the group together, letting me go was easier. I smiled lightly and looked at him. I could read it all over his face. Funny. Someone just said yesterday he'd take me back to Chuan City, and today he's already backing out? That's a speed record for breaking promises. Your words are even less reliable than a fart. Congratulations, host. 30 points. Jiang, this time I can't be blamed, he said, looking helpless. I felt nothing but sorrow for the original Yun Jiang. She gave her heart to the wrong man. When she got bullied, the man she loved didn't investigate the truth. He just used it as an excuse to push her away. Yesterday, he swore to protect her. Today, he told her to get lost, turning on people faster than turning a page. Pathetic. Tragic. Laughable. I looked at Qingwan. Did I push you? She stepped back, eyes full of hatred. I, the original me, had pushed her. But she couldn't say that. Not with the secret I held over her. No, she said through clenched teeth. Good. I smiled. The original Yun Jiang pushed her? She deserved it. If Qingwan hadn't spent all that time bullying and provoking the original me, using Gu Jibei to twist the knife, the original Yun Jiang would never have snapped. Congratulations, host. The female lead's emotional turmoil is off the charts. 50 points. Yun Jiang, don't you dare threaten Qingwan again, Li Wei barked. He could tell Qingwan was lying through her teeth. I must have threatened her. Then something unexpected happened. Shuezhan, who'd been silent through all of this, frowned and stepped forward. Yun Jiang did nothing wrong. She's not the one who should leave. Everyone turned and stared at him. I didn't expect it either. In a team where every single person was hostile toward the original Yun Jiang, someone actually stood up for me. Su Xiaonua's eyes went red with disbelief. Shuezhan, why are you defending this terrible woman? Did she trick you too? Her voice got smaller toward the end. None of them expected anyone to take my side. Qingwan studied Shuezhan carefully. He was always the quiet one. She hadn't predicted this. Li Wei tried too. You've been deceived, Shuezhan. I saw everything clearly. Yun Jiang did nothing wrong in this. I gave Shuezhan a thumbs up. Good man. You're the only sane person here. He just looked at me blankly. He was stating facts, nothing more. Being around the male and female leads clearly lowered everyone's IQ. Look at this. 13 people in the room, and only Shuezhan raised his hand for me to stay. Even Wang Guowei, still kneeling at my feet, was praying I'd disappear so nobody would bring up tonight's incident again. I already knew it would end like this. Qingwan put on her sad face. Yun Jiang, I think it's best if you leave for now. Qinjing actually laughed. The answer's obvious. Did we even need a vote? After you, Miss Yun, Zhou Sha and Su Xiaonao let out huge sighs of relief. Their faces still stung from my slaps, but if getting me kicked out only cost them one smack each, they'd take that deal any day. Qinjing's expression went cold. If you pull that stubborn act again and refuse to leave, I'll throw you out myself. I rolled my eyes at him. Looked like I really was getting expelled this time. Long out, Yen. How many points do I have right now? 730, host. Not enough. Not even close. I still needed 270 more. Even finishing the side quest would only cover 100. I'd still be 170 short. The crowd started heckling. Hurry up and go. Leave already. Then Shuezhan did something I didn't expect. I'll go with you, he said. Gu Jibei and Qinjing exchanged alarmed looks. Losing Shuezhan meant losing serious firepower. The team only had Gu Jibei's water ability and Qinjing's strength ability for combat. Qingwan was a healer with almost no fighting power. Everyone else was average at best. Qinjing tried to talk him out of it. Shuezhan, you're smart. The world's gone to hell. Sticking together is the only way to survive. Su Xiaonao was frantic. Shuezhan, you can't leave with her. She'll get you killed. Shuezhan glanced at her and frowned. Sticking with people who can't tell right from wrong, that's what gets you killed. I patted his shoulder approvingly. In this kind of situation, he still stood by me. Not bad at all. From now on, you're my little brother. He stared at me blankly. Gu Jibei's face went dark. This Shuezhan didn't know what was good for him. Following me was a death sentence. Your leadership skills must be terrible, Gu Jibei, if all you can attract is a bunch of brainless followers, I said with a grin. Congratulations, host. 30 points. Gu Jibei's points were stingy as always. Meanwhile, Qingwan's emotional reactions were a goldmine. She was generous without even trying. I still needed more, though. I wasn't close enough to 1,000. Time for the nuclear option. I turned to Qingwan and switched to full scornwoman mode. Gu Jibei, you filthy cheating scumbag. And Xiao Qingwan, just wait. You'll end up exactly like me soon enough. He threw me away today, and tomorrow he'll throw you away too. I'll be watching when your happy ending falls apart. Yun Jiang, stop talking nonsense. Qingwan, don't listen to her. Gu Jibei shouted. But I wasn't done. I went off. A loser and a fraud. A cheating man paired with a scheming woman. You two were made for each other, like a turtle falling for a green bean. You looked at each other and thought perfect match. I kept going. Anyone who tried to interrupt caught a verbal bullet too. Qingwan's face went chalk white from my relentless assault. Gu Jibei was too stunned to even process where I'd learned such creative insults. He wrapped his arms around Qingwan, pulling her close. It's okay, Qingwan. She was shaking. Tears streamed down her face. In her white clothes and pale skin, she looked like a delicate flower battered by a storm. Every man in the room wanted to shield her. And me? Next to her, I looked like a man-eating carnivorous plant. I chuckled. No wonder all these men went crazy for her. That helpless little look could fool anyone. Host, that was evil. You completely destroyed her mental state. She's so bothered by your existence. That's called hitting the theme. Stop rambling and check the points. Male lead gave 50. Female lead gave 100. Current total, 910 points. 910. Almost there. I should have just gone straight to verbal abuse from the start. Forget all the emotional chess. Raw insults paid way better. I just needed to collect some supplies outside, and I'd have enough to draw my first ability. Chunjing looked at Qingwan's devastated face and heard my non-stop cursing and couldn't take it anymore. What are you all standing around for? Get them out. Fine. I'm going. This dump doesn't deserve me anyway. Plenty of better places out there. Shuizhan, having just witnessed me single-handedly trash-talk an entire room of people, said nothing. Sometimes he could see why they wanted me gone. Even about to be thrown out, I was still running my mouth. Did I have a death wish? I started swaggering toward the door. Then boom.
En explosion.
Close. Way too close. My ears went dead for a second. My brain turned to static. The massive crystal chandelier hanging several meters above crashed down from the ceiling. People were still gathered in the living room. Someone couldn't dodge in time. The chandelier crushed them instantly. Dead on the spot. Others got cut by glass shards flying in every direction. Screams and wailing filled the air. The villa's outer wall had been hit by a grenade. A gaping hole, 2 or 3 meters wide, blasted through the side. Dust billowed everywhere. I dove to a corner on the first floor.
There was a window right in front of me.
I ripped off the old newspaper taped over it and peered outside. Shuizhan was right behind me.
It was still dark.
The faint moonlight barely revealed what was out there. About 10 meters from the villa, a group of armed men had appeared. At the front stood a bald man. His shiny head reflected the moonlight, making him impossible to miss in the dim pre-dawn light. He was dragging someone by the hair, a person covered in blood, body limp and lifeless. I squinted. It was Qian Duo, the guy who'd gone out yesterday with Gu Jibei and Qinjing. The one they'd said was dead. He wasn't dead, but looking at him, he wasn't far from it. So this is where your buddies are hiding, the bald man growled, yanking Qian Duo's hair to force eye contact. His face was brutal, thick stubble, vicious expression. Not someone you wanted to meet. Qian Duo's eyes were barely open. His lips were moving, saying something, but his voice was too weak for me to hear. A few seconds later, the bald man straightened up, put his hands on his hips, and threw his head back laughing.
Boys.
Rush in. Grab everything they've got.
Kill the men.
Keep the women. Ha ha ha, I heard there are a couple of real lookers in there. 2 pretty girls, one of them was probably me.
Great.
My face went cold. This wasn't supposed to happen in the book. This chapter was supposed to be about the female lead waking up, stealing the white jade ring, and kicking me out. Where did these armed psychos come from? I hadn't even gotten my ability yet. How was I supposed to fight people with guns? It was only the 4th day of the apocalypse, and these guys were already this bold? I could act tough around the main character group because I knew what kind of people they were. They wouldn't actually kill me this early in the story. But these strangers with weapons? Total wild card. Host, your changes to the plot created a chain reaction, Long Outian explained. But don't worry, the main storyline shouldn't change much.
See?
You're still getting kicked out, just like in the book. My arguing attracted zombies. The zombie cleanup led to the explosion being spotted. Gujibe took those two guys out to investigate and ran into these maniacs. Qian Duo survived, got captured, and gave up our location. All because of the butterfly effect. I think you're laughing at me right now. Never. I wouldn't dare. Those guys outside are all muscle. They've got guns. They look dangerous. Since fate wants us gone, let's just slip away quietly. Yes, host. The male and female leads had their heavenly Dao protection. What did I have? Absolutely nothing. Gu Jibei shielded Qingwan in his arms, checked she wasn't hurt, then rushed to the window.
Damn it.
Those lunatics tracked us down, he cursed under his breath. Qian Duo was alive, and he'd led them straight here. What do we do? Chen Jing asked tensely. Gu Jibei scanned the room. Evacuate through the back door. Now, someone said they needed to grab supplies first. Forget the supplies. Staying alive is what matters. Then the person who'd been crushed by the chandelier started twitching. Their eyes went cloudy. They lunged at the nearest person and bit down hard. Li Wei was pulling glass out of his injured arm when he felt someone tugging at him. He snapped without looking up. What? He turned around and came face to face with a pair of dead, milky eyes. Before he could react, the zombie pounced. Iron grip, hands clamped down on his shoulders. Teeth sank into his neck.
Li Wei's gramat.
Blood sprayed like a fountain. The zombie tore off a chunk of flesh. He stared in disbelief at what was happening to him. Just like that, his body went limp and collapsed like a deflated balloon. Seconds later, he started convulsing.
I saw the whole thing.
Li Wei was done.
Opfeline. Dead.
In the original book, he was supposed to die during one of Qingwan's supply runs. But the butterfly effect got him early. The candles, the only light source in the villa, went out when a gust of wind blew through. Someone screamed. The whole living room descended into chaos. Yun Jiang, stop screaming, Chen Jing shouted through gritted teeth. I was already at the back door. Excuse me? That wasn't me. Was he insane? Armed thugs outside, zombies lurking in the dark inside, people shrieking and dying all around, and he blamed me? The screams kept coming. The smell of blood grew thicker. I wasn't staying another second. I bolted out the back door. Shuezhan was right behind me. I'd already claimed him as my little brother, so of course he was sticking with the boss. He told me later that something about me just inspired confidence. Following me felt better than following Gu Jibei. The moment we stepped outside, 5 or 6 guys with machetes blocked our path. One of them whistled at me, looking sleazy. That kid wasn't lying. There are pretty women here. Look at this one. Real beauty. Even in the dim light, this body's figure and face were impossible to hide. The bald leader was attacking from the front. These guys were covering the back, making sure nobody escaped. Kill them fast, I said low to Shuezhan, gripping my shovel and charging the one in front. If the main group caught up to us, we'd never get away. Getting captured by these men. I didn't want to imagine what would happen. We had to be quick. I moved so fast I was almost a blur. Shuezhan was shocked. My speed rivaled an actual speed-type ability user. Was I hiding my true strength this whole time? In my past life, I was a struggling web novel author, but I loved watching martial arts shows and would sometimes copy the moves for fun. Never thought it would actually come in handy. My shovel came down on the leader of this little group. This was my first time killing a real person. These were characters in a book, sure. But in this world, they had flesh and blood. The impact was brutal. Blood and bits of flesh splattered everywhere. The yellow-haired thug hit the ground, eyes wide with shock and disbelief. He never expected to die at the hands of a woman. His death didn't scare the others off. It made them furious. That bitch killed Second Hair. Get her. Avenge him. Before they could move, Shuezhan raised his right hand. Metal darts shot forward like guided missiles, punching straight through their throats one after another.
Thud. Thud. Thud.
Blood erupted from their necks like blooming flowers. They couldn't even scream. They grabbed at their throats in disbelief, then dropped like puppets with their strings cut, dead before they hit the ground. I was so jealous. That metal ability was incredible. Way cooler than Gu Jibei's water power. Wait a second though. The zombie virus had only just broken out. Shuizhan barely awakened his ability and he already had this level of control? Someone like him shouldn't have been a nobody in the apocalypse. Then again, the book revolved around the male lead. Plenty of strong people probably never got mentioned. Gu Jibei and Qingwan came stumbling out the back door moments later. Inside the villa, it was pure hell. Zombies and armed maniacs everywhere. People were being grabbed, bitten, and torn apart. Total chaos. They stepped outside and froze. Bodies scattered across the ground. And me, standing in the middle of them, gripping my blood-soaked shovel. Fresh blood still dripping from the blade's edge. I looked like the god of death. This was the first time Gu Jibei had ever seen me kill anything. Not zombies.
People.
Was this really Yun Jiang? Qingwan's pretty eyes went round with shock. Her mouth hung open. Then she snapped out of it, shuddered, and grabbed onto Gu Jibei's sleeve with trembling hands. Jibei. Yun Jiang. She killed people.